Welcome back to the Field Podcast with Chris Cyr. I'm sitting today with legendary drifter Ryan Tuerck. Ryan has an amazing career. He also is a New Hampshire native, so it's something that I'm looking forward to get to know him, a little bit of our New Hampshire connections and some of the fall foliage traffic that we get to interact with. But I'm going to get into his life, his career, and we're really excited to learn about how you make a life out of making drifting a thing. So we're going to get into that here with Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you being here. I want to start with you in the beginning, Ryan. So Derry, New Hampshire, not to be confused with Derry, Maine, right?
Correct. Yeah.
How many people have gotten that confused?
Not a ton, because people, it's just, you always back it up with Derry, New Hampshire, because you're usually out of region when people ask where you're from.
Right.
So you always, follow it up.
You're not a Stephen King novelist.
I am a Stephen King fan for sure, but not that novelist.
I saw on your career, your background, that you were an April birthday. I'm April 12th. So
nice.
Yes,
10 over here, dude.
Yep, that was pretty cool. So
Aries,
April birthdays,
if that matters.
Yes, the Aries, right? Exactly. So we probably have a lot in common just in that sense. But yep. So I appreciate you coming out. Tell us about Derry in the beginning. Were you born and raised there?
Yeah, born in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And then we grew up in Derry. That's where we lived at the time. But the city hospital.
Right.
So
pretty small town.
Yeah, small town.
Right.
Especially in the 80s. Yeah. It was a growing suburb, I think, of Boston and some other towns in Massachusetts. Essentially, people wanted the tax-free state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
To maybe not pay income tax and all of that.
Is that why your family was there? Or?
My dad moved. My dad was in New York City. My mom was in Jersey. Then they got married, and my dad worked for Flying Tigers, which was an airline.
Yeah.
And he got offered a job either in Tennessee or Boston. So he said, I'll choose Boston, because he wanted to stay in the Northeast.
Okay.
And he wanted somewhere outside of a city that was drivable, to have some land, just kind of be in a more of an open space, because he grew up in Queens, New York, and motorcycle or dirt bikes and four-wheelers and that type of off-road stuff was not a thing, obviously.
Sure.
So he wanted his
So
sons.
He liked outdoors?
Yeah. Okay. We just grew up in the outdoors, essentially. But he growing up wanted, I think back in those days, like growing up in the city in the 60s and 70s, everybody wanted to leave the city to somewhere they thought was better. That's kind of the impression I get from talking with my dad over the years. Yeah. And so he did that and got us a dirt bike when we were like 9 years old.
That's amazing. So you have some siblings?
I have a twin brother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we have a younger brother as well. So the three of us.
So you guys were the older two?
Yeah. My brother and I are older, and then our younger brother Evan's about 3.5 younger.
Nice. So is it like, do you guys have that weird sixth sense that you guys know what's going on in each other's lives all the time?
Yeah, growing up for sure. It's like you're with each other every single day. Yeah. And you're very seldom apart from each other, because you're the same age and you live together. You have all the same friends and you do everything basically together. Yeah. So, and those, you could very easily, finish a sentence and say the same thing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you identical?
We were told we're fraternal, but we look identical.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe they messed how they figured that out. Yeah, I read a friend of mine who had they had twins and they're identical. Okay. And she had sent me this thing about misdiagnosed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, not that it matters at this point in our life, but it's just interesting. Like, maybe
drop him in a drift car.
Yeah.
See if he could, just make it happen.
Yep.
What's he do now?
So my brother, he served in the Marine Corps. He's retired from that. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. So sorry to the other service people out there. But anyway, so he's looking to go back to school right now and use the GI Bill to either do something with composites or welding or machining or something that has to do with the company that we started to progress his skill set to just help with furthering our business.
Cool. That's great. We'll get into that in a little bit here.
Sure.
And so let's see here. So you got a motorcycle at 9, and it looks like you started doing some racing at 10. Was that really kind of pretty quick progressing into racing?
Yeah. My dad. So like I had said, my dad wanted to be on dirt bikes himself. So he said the next best thing was getting us dirt bikes. When he moved up here and business got a little bit better and he had, more cash to spend on extracurricular things, he got us a dirt bike.
That's cool.
And we would just go out to ride around in these random pits. Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of open space back then in these southern towns of New Hampshire. So you could pretty much drive to any like cul-de-sac or end of a road and just keep wheel out your bikes and go for a ride. Yeah. So we used to do that, and we practiced for probably about a year. And my dad's like, you guys want to go racing? And my brothers and I are like, what's racing? Yeah. You know, we didn't even know what it was. Sure. We're like, sure, sounds great. Yeah. So dad takes us, our whole family, my brothers, our, you know, mom, dad, the whole thing. And we drive like 4.5 hours into New York to like middle of New York to this racetrack. And we're like, you know what I mean? It's like such a far drive for us to go to for our first dirt bike race. Right. And running around like chickens with their head cut off, and racing was crazy. We had one CR80, which is like a proper race bike. Yeah. And then we had an XL80, which is like a air-cooled 4-stroke. Okay. Which was not ideal because it had twin shocks in the rear and just not good for,
you know, a class. Right, when you start
like a pretty old-school trail bike to a brand new race bike, and that's what you're racing against out there, even in a novice class. So it was a pretty wide-eyed situation, and we learned a lot. And that was our beginning experience of racing. Crashed a bunch.
Sure.
And
did you get hurt right away?
No, not right away, thankfully. Okay. So, you know, it was all because we're riding so slow. We didn't know what speed was at that point. Sure. And so that all progressed into injuries later. But but that's what kicked us off into racing and understanding what racing was. Okay. And
did your mom handle it okay? Did she?
Yeah, she did. Obviously,
you guys are boys and just need that aggression out. So probably that was a good outlet for you guys.
Yeah, my mom was always there to support us and be at the races. She would bring a book to read because there's obviously a lot of downtime, and she's like, "Well, I'm not going to work on the bike, so what am I supposed to do?" So, but she was great. She would feed us and just hang out and just make sure she was there to support us. So, cool.
That's really cool. Awesome, man. And your brother and your younger brother, all three of you were racing?
Yeah, we all raced. Wow. Some of us took breaks at different stages because we raced for 10 years and got really intense towards the end when becoming professional and racing almost every weekend and homeschool and the whole thing. So,
was your mom doing the homeschool too, or?
We had this curriculum called Keystone National High School, and that was the homeschool that we used. Yeah. And it was basically it was a lot of multiple choice and then a lot of essay work. So if we got stuck on something, that would help. But otherwise, you're pretty much just reading the textbook and then finding the answers type of thing. So it was pretty easy on that side of things. And then the essay stuff was just time consuming.
Nice. So your dad, you were into this, but your dad was obviously probably the catalyst for a lot of this, right?
Our dad was the one pushing.
You were living the life he almost sounds like he might have wished he had.
Yeah. I think he wanted to experience that side of life and do it. Well, it's no better way to do it than with your kids, you know.
Was he gone a lot flying? Was it a regional
route?
No,
my dad had a steam cleaning. To back it up, Flying Tigers. Yeah, he worked there for the airline for a long time, and then it's a little murky on my memory on what happened there, but he eventually started another company. His own business was a steam cleaning pressure washing company. Oh, cool! And I think that started generating enough money, so he left the airline because then he could essentially make his own hours and do his own thing and help us with racing. Wow! So that was kind of his transition there. So he steam cleaned and pressure washed houses, construction equipment, garbage trucks, oil tankers, the trucks that deliver fuel to the gas stations, all that stuff. So that's what we grew up doing too.
Did he have you guys as part of the business?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like a good entrepreneurial business dad.
Absolutely. It was great because you still had time to do the things that you wanted to in life. Yeah. And you still made enough money to be able to do those things that you want to do.
Huh. So did he have staff? No, it was just you guys.
Just him, us sometimes, not all the time. And then he had one other employee as we're growing up that helped out on weekends. Wow. It was a lot of weekend work because the trucks had to be off to get them washed. So.
Yeah. Huh. That's really interesting. So you kind of got to see your dad find some success in business. Do you think that has anything to do with who you are now?
100%. Like the entrepreneurial side of it is a thing, especially for my brothers and I, because we've never well, I haven't really ever worked for like somebody or a corporation or anything like that. It's always kind of been on my own terms, which has been
cool.
Which has been nice.
Okay.
which can be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because sometimes it's tough to work that out if things don't work out. So
and it's hard to turn it off, and like
exactly.
you don't get to leave it at the office. And
yeah.
There's a definitely balancing act, and I definitely want to get into that with you here too. All right, so let's get into a little bit of the early teen years. So when did you see moto as something that like you could do more professionally? It looks like around 16 for you.
I would say that's tough to say when we took it
like more
a little bit more seriously. I think once we got on big bikes like a 125, when we got on 125s and then we started doing well in the amateur side of things, we would travel a lot around the Northeast, going all the way down to Maryland and all the way out to like Western Pennsylvania would be our whole area in this whole Northeast to race. Yeah. And we'd race a lot of other fast kids, you know, in this area. And that kind of opened up our eyes, and we got a lot more experience and a lot faster because of it. And then when we ended up going to Loretta Lynn's for the first time, which is like the biggest amateur national in the world. And not that we did super well there competitively or finish wise, but it was just that kind of like click to the next step of like, all right, I need to invest more time into this and take it more seriously as a kid, train more, and then just try to get faster. And that was the whole thing. So I'd say maybe 14, 15, I think more 15. Yeah. Is when that kind of came on.
Were you balancing other sports and hobbies? And you were doing homeschool at that time?
No, so we didn't. Yes, so we started homeschooling after freshman year of high school. Okay. And I was kind of the catalyst to that because our high school wouldn't let us miss days or make up days. So if you missed a day, you could only miss up to 6 days of school. Right. And they didn't care what it was. Right. And if you didn't have a doctor's note, then it didn't matter. You'd fail that semester. And we're like, well, how's this going to work? You know, like we're taking the sport to our next step. Right. And this high school won't work with us. Yeah. So we kind of
that's interesting.
Didn't have much of a choice besides homeschooling. Could we have made it work some way? Yeah, but then our racing experience would have suffered for sure. So I was kind of the push to make that happen. My parents said, okay, we'll try it out. Yeah. A little reluctantly for sure. Sure. And we made it work for the first 2-3 years. Yeah. Until we were about 18. We're always a year ahead because we went to readiness, which is like a in between kindergarten and first grade. Yeah. So we were a little older. Yeah. So we would have graduated when we were 19. And we stopped racing when we were about 19. So that's kind of the school thing there.
No, it's interesting because I think there's a lot more parents that are doing that now. But back then, that was probably pretty cutting edge stuff, right? Like,
yeah, I'd say
take your kids out for a hobby or like a passion. Yeah, you didn't see that much in the 90s, early 2000s.
I mean, we were hoping that it would have turned into something for sure. Obviously, like you're chasing down that dream of becoming a paid professional to do what you love to do.
Oh, that's amazing. And family was that supportive.
Yeah, incredibly. Yeah. Yeah, to almost no ends, which is a little scary to think about now that I understand.
Now that you have a kid. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Pursue this crazy race thing? That's amazing. And you went up to Canada too? So you're kind of, obviously here up in northern New Hampshire, we're pretty close to the border. So that probably makes sense, right?
Yeah, we that was really tough on us, my brother and I, because my dad wasn't around for a lot of that. We were about 17 and we raced the entire Canadian Nationals all the way out to Vancouver Island on the West Coast. Oh, wow. My dad drove us, we drove all the way across the country out there to start the season. And then we basically just, they at least like slowly trickled back to the East Coast rounds. So we drove back across the country of Canada, just my brother and I at 17 years old in a motorhome, Class C motorhome, a trailer on the back with dirt bikes in it. And we raced, I think, 2 or 3 rounds without my dad or anybody there. It was really hard for us. Yeah. Like it was really tough because all we wanted to do it was summertime. We just wanted to race and come home and play with our friends and ride BMX bikes, and go to our local practice track, which we always had a blast on. So that kind of changed a lot of things for my brother and I, just how we've kind of viewed motocross. I think it started to burn us out.
Sure.
And
stop being fun.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Until we got back to the eastern swing of events, which is like Ontario all the way to Newfoundland, I think, if I'm saying that right. So we got to race on the weekends and come home on when we came back east. But we were gone on the road for like 2.5 months, which felt like an eternity for
at
for 17, the two of us. Yeah,
with your friends and everyone else trying to pull your time, and I could feel that. And
then the bikes weren't that. We had 250 2-stroke, like 2001 Honda CR 250s, which was a horrible bike for us to ride. Just did not feel good. We weren't fast on them. Feel like they would kill you once the track got rough and that type of thing. So results weren't great. But when we got to the East Coast and we were on our 125s, because they split the 125 class between West and East.
Oh, wow.
We were really good on the 125s because we were lightweight. The bikes were decently fast, not like a Yamaha, but they're okay. And we did a lot better. We're top 5, top 10.
Okay.
And did pretty well at 17 for that class. So
nice.
So that kind of kicked off our pro careers as young kids.
Yeah.
And had a way better understanding of what it took at that point.
Okay.
And we were training well, eating well, in the gym, like doing all the things. Obviously, I think back on it now, we could have done better.
Sure.
But you don't really know.
Right.
Kids these days, everybody knows how to train and what to train, and
it's a YouTube search away.
Yeah. Back then, it's just like, well, I think I'm doing it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What and you and your brother, your twin brother, are sharing this experience?
Yeah.
You guys are kind of doing this together at the same time.
Yeah. We're both together the whole time throughout the Canadian journey.
Yeah. So at least you had each other in that sense.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Were you managing sponsors? Like, or were you sponsored at all, or is it just
we had a couple small sponsors, some nothing major, but a couple people supporting us, which was phenomenal. But it was more of a grown up. My dad handled that situation.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know. Besides, we would
the
take care of
on the car. Or
we would put the
bike.
stickers on the bikes and make sure they look nice, and because that's what we could do. Sure. And we knew how to work on the bikes. We were mechanically doing top ends and chain and sprockets and all the basic maintenance that you need to do to upkeep the bike. But that was purely out of need and not want.
No one else is going to do it.
Yeah. My dad's like, you have to know how to do it if you want to ride this thing. I was like, all right.
That's interesting too. And I think now that I've done some more racing, you really learn mechanical sympathy if you're the one working on the unit, right?
Absolutely. Well, back then as a kid, no, like, definitely not. You can't give a dirt bike mechanical sympathy.
Sure.
But on a car, you definitely can.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And that's something so what do you think you learned in that 17 year, the challenges that you faced and what professional motorsport could look like? What are some of the lessons that you think you pulled out of that year?
Man, just, I think it kind of just makes you understand yourself a little bit more and what is important to you. I think you're so young at that point and immature, selfish, that you only want to do one thing, and that's just have fun.
Yeah.
And for my brothers and I, like, pretty much all we did is have fun, because we got to ride dirt bikes during the week and race on the weekends, and then ride BMX bikes like when we weren't racing. So it was like the perfect thing to just be able to continue having fun. So as soon as that situation kind of goes away and you can't have that, then I think that was like our first reality check for sure, of like, wow, life can be hard type of thing,
which is cool.
But I mean, we got a taste of it from my dad and working with him, but beyond that, it's that was probably the toughest thing we went through, is just kind of being by ourselves at a young age.
Yeah. So when did you continue to race after that, or did you?
Yep. Yeah, we raced a few more years. That was 17. We raced till we were 19. So we finished that year in Canada, and then we decided we wanted to stay in the States and race some of the AMA Nationals, or try our first time to qualify for some of those races. And we did pretty good. I missed our local AMA race at Southwick in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, I was trying to qualify for Loretta's again, and my brother raced it, and he got top, I think 22nd or 21st, which is like just outside of the top 20 is points paying, where you would get your national number, which would be a 2-digit number. So coming into the AMA Nationals back then, like your biggest goal was to get a 2-digit number.
Right.
Otherwise, you're a nobody with a 3-digit number.
Right.
So he just missed it, and then I didn't get to race that one, unfortunately. But my first race I qualified for was in Unadilla, which is in this really cool track in New York, and I did horrible. It's like the first one, you know, you're so nervous, and unfortunately my racing for 30 minutes plus 2 was a really like the longest race we've ever done. Yeah. So you're going to get tired before the end, and then you kind of understand a little bit more and like how much more you need to train to not be tired at the end of one of those races.
Right. It is funny how like life, you see all these people who are successful at something right off the bat, and it's usually because you actually did all these other things that have prepared you for that moment, right? But your training probably wasn't built for that type of experience.
Yeah, the longest motos that we did would be 30. We would do 30 plus 2s at the practice track, but you're not, the intensity is not there. Yeah. You're keeping your heart rate in check, and everything's good. So we should have been riding maybe 45-minute motos or something like that to make up for it in some way. But yeah, so you just don't know until you know, right? Yeah. Unless you have a mentor that knows.
That's why you see a lot of these parents that had success in their career now make their kids, and now they're like
second
family
generation.
Legacy. Like, how did these happen? But it's because they just know all the tricks.
Right. It's a streamlined, efficient.
Dad in Queens. That's what the problem was. He didn't have the childhood.
Totally, though. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If your kid wants to go moto, maybe you have some of it.
Learning and experiencing everything for the first time generation, for sure.
Yeah. No, that is amazing. So what happened at 19? What'd you guys hang it up for?
Life just got a little harder. My dad was out of money. Our parents were splitting up. And we're just kind of at this weird time where we're still being homeschooled. We're just like, well, that's not important anymore. Yeah. You know, so then we went through this little period of being, I should back that up. So I think what led to that, this is the kind of the point of where we got into cars. So we're still racing up until this point, but so burnt out. And like, I was worried to tell my dad, like, I just didn't want to race anymore. And that ended up working out fine, because my dad ended up, you know, when it came to that point of saying, hey, I don't know, like my heart's not in it anymore. Like I want to do something else. And my dad always told us growing up, if you don't want to, you don't have to race. We're not here to force you to race. And my dad's in the back of us, I'm not going to keep paying for you to just not want to be here, because it costs a lot of money. That was probably his thought.
Didn't want to disappoint him.
Right. But yeah, you get into it so far and so deep and goes in for so long, you just don't want to disappoint anybody. And that was kind of part of it, because we got to a point where we were pretty far in it as pros. And it was kind of that turning point of whether you were going to just kind of grind it out and see what happened, or if you're just going to say, all right, we got as far as we got, type of thing. And I was like, Dad, I got no more in me.
And your brother was on the same wavelength?
Yeah, my dad, Justin, pretty much already was like, yeah, I'm good.
Oh yeah,
okay. Yeah,
that helps everyone.
Yeah,
wavelength.
So right, yeah, it was good. So it wasn't like a big deal. It was a big deal in the sense of being 19 and like quitting this thing that you've done your entire childhood. Like that was such a huge thing.
Right.
And I had so much regret. And it felt so strange, like being home on the weekends. Like it was a weird feeling as a kid, for sure. And but what also led to that change was my brother and I was working at a detail shop at the time in Derry, and my buddy, a friend of ours, picked us up in a friend's Fox Body Mustang from auto mech class in high school, and they went out for a little hell ride. And then they called me up. He's like, dude, you got to come. Can you get off? I'm like, asked the boss, like, hey, can I go get lunch? And they're like, all right, come pick me up. So they came and picked me up and took me for this hell ride all around town, doing, you know, nothing crazy, but doing donuts and empty parking lots and drifting at first gear out of a couple 90-degree turns and that type of thing. And my brother's in the back seat, I'm in the front seat, and our friend's driving. And we both like look at each other. We're like, we need to get a car.
That's amazing.
And
what's your buddy's name? Just give him a shout out.
His name was Greg.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so we hit the want ad at that point. My brother and I had like pulled together money. We had like $1,700 from working for our dad.
Yeah.
Because we didn't spend money on anything.
Sure.
We either riding BMX bikes and, buying snacks downtown type of deal.
Right.
Otherwise, like you got money, you just went in your desk drawer.
Yeah.
So we had $1,700 and we found a Mustang. It was like 2-hour drive south.
Nice.
In Massachusetts. Went and checked it out. Had the same dude drive it, and he said, "Checks out." My dad says, "You guys better call." He called us. We had a cell phone for when we were in Canada.
Yeah.
And he says, "You guys better not bring that car home. If you buy that car, you do not bring it home." So we had to hide it at our buddy's house. And we would take it out at night and go find empty parking lots and just go roast the tires off the thing. And that was kind of our first introduction into cars was that car.
Really? Another Fox body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Fox body LX.
Okay.
I think it was in 1990 or 91.
Yeah. And those were so not in demand at that time, especially, right? Like
$1,700. I think we got it for $1,500.
People did not like that car and now I think obviously it's coming back all of a sudden.
Their money now.
Yeah. But back then, like up until even only a few years ago, that was like the shameful Mustang years, right? So
I always love those. Well, the notchback was the one to get. The LX or the hatchback was not the prettiest one, but man, those were fun cars.
Nice. So you guys were just hooning around in parking lots and being stupid teenagers, but getting some understanding of weight transfer and how to get a car break loose.
Exactly.
And the things that you do now for a living.
You would get like overconfident and do some sketchier things.
Yeah, you don't know where the limit is, so you got to keep going. It's like, I could go 10 more miles an hour faster.
It's like soft suspension and an open diff. Like eventually it's going to catch and you're going to get all. Yeah.
Do you have any big mistakes, any big crashes or anything? You guys got away with it?
Nothing substantial.
Yeah.
I had a dumb one where some friends had rented a house, and in front was this little straightaway. It's probably like 200 or 300 yards long, right off a main road, and there's a like large ditch on both sides of the road, so you really had to stay on it.
Yeah.
And I was doing like donuts into a brake stand, and I just dipped one tire off, and it pulled me into the ditch. And then these burnout marks went all the way to the car in the ditch, and the cops had been called already, so I got something for that. But.
Yeah, get a little attention. Yeah. No, it's funny. Tim O'Neill and I have discussed this. It's like, how do you get a young person to be excited by motorsports? And we used to be able to do stupid things in parking lots, and like there's such a culture against that now. And even like, how do you learn how to drive in the snow? Like you got to slide around in an empty parking lot, and then people call the cops. And it's like, we try to build these safe places like Team O'Neill or other places where people can go and do that. But I think there's still a necessity for young people to learn a little bit of like car control and get some of that teenage angst out in at least some safer areas. Right. And,
we would always, on the safety side of it, was always empty. Big,
right. And at night you can see lights forever. And there's just things you can do to be safe, dumb and safer. But we're still going to need to do that type of stuff as young males or young people that are excited by motorsports. Yeah. Right?
Especially in the north, like you're saying, in the snow, it's
it's dark by 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock, and if you're 16 years old getting your license, and then you're having to drive in the snow, which is something that happens every year for these young kids. It's like it's just making it safer.
Got to go somewhere to do that.
In the end, yeah.
No, it is. Agreed. It is funny. So where did that turn into? It sounds like Englishtown was your first actual drift.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Mustang was in 2002.
Okay.
I think I was 20. We were 20. Yeah, 20 years old at that time. And then we were downloading videos on Kazaa, on our desktop PCs. And we found out that drifting was a thing, and it was actual sport.
Yeah.
So back in 2002, and then we didn't know it at the time.
Initial D and stuff like that.
And then we found Initial D and, you know, all those early videos and DVDs, and then option DVDs and all of that. And then I bought so many of those because that's what you learned from at that point.
And those are the only access.
Those are the only pros. Yeah. So downloaded videos on Kazaa, and that was at the end of 2002. So we found out what drifting was then. Yeah. We didn't know it at the time, but Slipstream Global, which became Formula Drift, had brought all the D1 drivers to Irwindale Speedway. Okay. At some point in 2002, I believe. And so drifting had just come to the U.S. in a big way. Oh, wow. And I found out about it in 2002 at the end of the year. We had already been doing drifting, just didn't know that it was called drifting, essentially. Yeah. Bad drifting we were doing, but nonetheless, it was on that side of it. Yeah. So we sold the Mustang. I ended up buying a 240, a Nissan 240 SX. This mint one. It was an LE, 92 or 93, had a twin cam KA. It was so mint. It's $1,600. Couldn't believe it. Sunroof. It was a hatchback. Yeah. Maroon red. And
this is what the old timers sounded like 30 years ago, right? Yeah. Like, I bought the Mustang 65 and for $500. And,
yes. It's just so funny.
Like pocket rockets from the 90s that we wish we could still have.
Yes, a lot of that.
Yeah, my
everything from the 90s. I want
2000 Subaru 2.5 RS, right, with 2 doors, great blue gold rims. Like, I want that car back so bad. That's so awesome.
So that was basically the start of drifting in a real way for me, because now I had something to pursue. Right. And that car was it. And then modifying that car and saving up enough money for now parts to build it into a proper drift car that was going to continuously progress my skill set too. Yeah.
What were you doing for money at that time?
Just working for my dad for more full time.
Okay.
So we had, not a ton of money. We're not making a ton of money, but back then money went so much further, and parts were a lot cheaper. Right. Even though they're all good parts, you didn't have the China stuff being imported at that point. It was all like more Japanese parts that were here that were more bolt on, and everything was nice. Right. So you're buying cool, good parts that last. Okay. For the most part, and so you're saving up. And that's all I did. I would spend my money mostly on tires and seat time to gain experience. So at that point, I was going to Englishtown. Okay. And they're the ones who had the first drift events, like legal drift events on the East Coast. Okay. And it was now longtime friends, Tony Angelo, Chris Forsberg, Matt Petty, who all kind of started that stuff down there. Wow. And that's where I met Von Gittin Jr. down there as well. And that was kind of that was it. That was the start of everything. So my first event down there was really cool because we get down there early. I think they opened the gates at like 5 p.m. We're like first or second in line, anxious as heck trying to get out there and drive. Yeah. You see them like setting the cones up and doing some laps, and you're just like getting super antsy. And we finally get in there, fill out my tech card, and just go out there and start ripping. Yeah. And it was the most progression I've had behind the wheel up until that point, because now I don't have to worry about all these other factors, like other people and cars and the law and the whole thing. So now you have a dedicated place to go drive. And that one event like progressed my skill set probably 1 or 2 times over, which was awesome.
Were you watching other people good at it too, and like seeing like how did they do that? Or
there was because there was at that point it was like Chris and Tony were really good. Okay. There's a couple other guys too. Yeah. So I'd watch them and how they drove, and they had power even back then. Not a lot. You're talking like over 200, where I was at 160 at the rear wheels type of thing. So my situation in line was a little different, of course, just based on power. But it was cool, because then you start learning how to use the handbrake properly and slowing down for turns and that type of thing. So it was cool. And then I did this little competition at the end of the night, single run car, and I ended up winning it. And it was my first event. So I was super stoked. Got a little trophy or whatever to bring home. And it was really neat. And that pretty much was just like, then I was just,
you got the carrot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Yeah.
That's funny. So 2002, my best friend's brother is watching Initial D, and we're like trying to figure out what drift is. And there's nothing accessing. We're in Colorado, and that's how we found rally. So for me, Initial D was the like, Subaru, Japanese culture, like what can we do to access? And it's like, okay, Subaru, and like, okay, there's these rallies. So Colorado Cog Rally, Steamboat. And I got to go see that in 2003.
That's an awesome experience.
So Tanner Faust's first rally, and I see Jeff Swart sail off a cliff as a spectator, and I'm just like, this is the coolest sport, and I've been broken ever since. But
you got the sickness.
Yeah, I was just watching those guys just do what they did on a dirt road and in real life, and getting to access and see that as a teenager was the thing that I wanted to replicate and do.
Man, the experience, your first experience is so unique and for everybody, and it's so cool what actually brings you in.
Were you able to use your infrastructure from moto and racing and the drift thing, or like how did you get your car to Englishtown for the first time?
Just drove it. Yeah.
Oh, you drove the car there.
My daily driver drift car for the first 03, 04, 05, and then 06, I think I started transporting it on haulers to get to races, but that's when I started doing FD.
Okay.
So yeah, it was basically my daily driver until 2006. So I would drive it everywhere.
And through that time, you're just working with your dad too to make money? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So my dad would let me off, on the weekends, or if I needed 4 days off or whatever the case was, to go to these big events. So that was, yeah.
Did you ever think about going to college, or was there what else was pulling your time or focus, or were you broken by this and this was your total focus of your life?
This was it, 100%. That was all I wanted to do. And thinking back on it now, I wish I went to school.
Okay.
But it just wasn't the time.
Sure.
Even if I went to school back then,
yeah,
I wouldn't have given it the time it needed to come out with something proper.
You would have been distracted by this still, right?
Yeah.
And so school probably would have suffered with the focus of the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even end up going back. Ended up going back to night school just to get my high school diploma, and I didn't even get that until like 2005 or something. We're supposed to graduate in 2003.
Okay.
So it took a few more years just to get squared away on that side of things, but at that point, driving was it. It's the most important thing.
If a young person's listening to this right now and they see you now, you're 40, right?
41.
And
sorry,
they're let's be exact. Round up. If they're 18, 19, they're pursuing a hobby. You said you wish you would have done school. Like, what would you give them advice right now?
The advice part is hard for me because of the situation I was in. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have given school the time it needed to come out with some sort of career or certificate or diploma for something. Like obviously now I wish I went to school for engineering, but back then I was horrible at math. Never even gave it any time to even understand it.
Okay.
And I never would have made it through school if I wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
So I think for me, it took a long time in life to know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
For a skill set.
Sure.
Besides driving.
I think there's a lot of young people that have that same problem, right? And so I think they use college to solve what you solved with motorsport.
Yeah.
Right. You were lucky at least enough to have something that allowed you to focus.
Yeah.
Right. And so you worked really hard to pay the bills, to afford the car parts, to you got real world education and figure out how to.
My wife always likes to say, "Yep, I went to real college and you went to drift college."
Skid school is what Tim would call it.
There you go. Yeah. I'm just lucky it ended up working out, and I basically was in the right place at the right time, and my skills progressed as a sport. Progressed into this professional level of motorsport.
Yeah, and you could definitely, what FD did and what the infrastructure of drifting allowed for people to make a career out of this, right?
But I guess, to come back to advice, I say it's so hard, but I think just pursuing what you're passionate about is going to be the most important thing.
Right.
And for me, I wasn't worried was also young, so it didn't matter as much, but I wasn't worried about where drifting was going to take me. I wasn't in a place where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be a professional drifter and become successful and do all these things. It was more like, this is all I want to do, and this is all I'm going to focus on, because this is it. Yeah. Nothing else matters but this.
Okay.
And I was just locked in fully.
That's good advice. Yeah.
So I think if you're passionate about something, be passionate about it, pursue it. And if it's something, at some point you're going to have to be like, well, something has to happen here. Like, I need to either make money doing this, because you're going to get to an age where you're going to be an adult, and the free train is going to run out, and you might not ever have that opportunity. Right. But I was given that by my parents. So we were lucky to be able to have, no rent. My parents never charged us rent, stayed in the house till I was about 25, 26. Yeah. And was able to pursue driving.
No, and I think everybody has different access to opportunities in life, and some people have different starting points. But, ultimately, like, pursuing a passion, right, I think is a good piece of advice there. And it's never going to get easier once you get older to pursue your passion, right? And so
only gets harder.
Right. So like when you're young and you can take bigger risks and have bigger chances in life, that's a good time to try it, because then once you have family and kids and things that I definitely don't regret having, and I'm sure you don't either, but like then it's harder. Like, it would be really hard to start your drift career right now.
Yes. Incredibly. Right. It's already hard enough to want to go back to school and even have any time. There's just no time to even do that. It's, sheesh, I need to be tutored. I'm gonna have to be tutored in math if I go back, like, religiously. So,
but now you have a passion. You know why you'd want to go back. So if you did go back, at least you'd have the passion to like want to solve some of those issues that you have. No, that's really good advice. So when did drifting? Did you actually start making money drifting, or were you always working, in the background to pay for the things to do the drifting stuff?
So it's probably a 2-answer question. So, so how it started going down was events started popping up more and more, so 2003 was my first real year doing events at Englishtown, and some other events that started popping up around the Northeast. And I was one of the better drivers who had not a super capable car, but a skill set that I was constantly working on and constantly able to develop it in a pretty quick way. That will also help because I found some really safe spots that were very secluded here in the Northeast that I was able to go practice. I'd wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and drive an hour and a half to this location and be able to drive for hours on end. Usually go up there every day it rained so that you could stay there longer, where it wasn't as loud and tires would last longer and that whole thing. So that really helped my skill set progress quite a bit as well. So I was driving basically every chance that I was able to, whether it was raining or going to Englishtown or doing these other events. There was a point where I didn't drive for probably 4 or 5 months because I was putting a turbo engine in my car, and this is fully DIY, and I knew nothing. I knew how to spin wrenches and tighten nuts and bolts, but I knew nothing about electronics. I knew nothing about control systems like ECUs and sensors and wastegates and fueling an engine and all of those things. So I pretty much just burnt up the first engine I got. And then I was, this was everything because you just spent so much money on this thing. And so that was really hard to come back from. So I had a little downtime and then got the engine built properly and figured everything out with friends and asking a lot of questions and the whole thing. And then that was perfect timing because my skill set was I needed more power out of my car to get to the next level of my skill set. Okay. So that helped a lot. And then things got a little more serious. There was like miniature competitions popping up in the Northeast, and I would go out to those. And then Formula D started in 2005. They started in 2004, but I wasn't ready for that. Okay. And then in 2005, I did 2 FD rounds. The first one was Road Atlanta. I actually trailered my car down to that with my brother and our friend Bobby. And it was a wide opening experience because I had a 300 horsepower car, 16-inch tires, and this massive racetrack with this huge downhill into the first turn. and then a big uphill. So for me, that was more of like a learning experience. I did not qualify.
Sure.
But it was just like,
and they're bringing Japanese over, right? Like,
there's a lot of Japanese, like D1 drivers, and then you have the local dudes from E-Town, Tony and Chris and Vaughn were all on Team Falcon at that point. Like, things started happening really fast.
Right.
And I was at a point where I'm like, damn, like, look at all these guys doing this stuff. Like, I'm getting left behind kind of thing. Like, I need to figure this out. But it just was what it was. I just keep plugging away the way I could do it. Yeah. And there was no lack of anything. I was giving it all the effort and all the money and everything that I had resource wise was going to the sport. And so I did that first round of FD, didn't qualify, but we were there, got experience.
What do you think you learned at that event? Like, was there any big lessons?
Yeah, I just learned how much further I had to go, how much longer the road was on a skill set and car.
Yeah. Okay.
And the progression was instantly right there in your face. So now I had a roadmap, though. So now I had a point where I knew I knew how to get there because of practicing and racing and training on dirt bikes. It's like, I feel like that's one of the biggest crossover points into cars was I knew how to practice efficiently and I knew what I had to work on to get to the next level of skill set in the car to get to where those guys were.
It is funny, especially in your 20s, these moments where you're humbled, right? Like, you kind of have that extra confidence. You probably were driving down to Atlanta like, I might show up and like be a guy.
You have those thoughts,
right?
For sure.
Yeah. And so you're like driving down with all that excitement, and then you get there and you get to your event and you're humbled and you're driving home. It's like, those are the moments in my life in my 20s that I was like, that's where I learned the most about myself, my drive, my ability to like do more than what most people were willing to do to have the success we have now. Right?
I agree. It almost remotivates you in a big way.
Some people get motivated, some people get turned off, right? So it is a personality ways. Like fight or flight moment in your life where it's like, okay, either now I got to triple down or I got to quit.
Exactly.
The road is, bigger than I thought, but it's also, a road I want to go down.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
No, that's really cool.
So we get home from that event. So I'm like, all right, I just need to keep plugging away. Some dudes in the Northeast of New York were throwing local events, and they found out that this Canadian championship was starting up in Montreal.
Okay.
Montreal area in Quebec. And that was 4.5 hours from my house.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Nothing in motorsports. If you're used to driving in motorsports,
so
if you're within a 10-hour bubble, then it's
exactly.
like it's right down the road.
And we, all the friends and local friends in town and Derry and surrounding towns, as soon as you turn 18, you're going to Canada to go drink anyway.
Sure.
So I hadn't really been there for that because we were still racing at that point, dirt bikes. But everybody else, a lot of our friends all did that. They're like, oh, let's go. So we always have a lot of friends. So we'd go. So we found out what the date was. We'd go up to Canada for this first professional drifting round in Canada. It was called the Drift Mania Canadian Championship, the DMCC, and they were paying cash to win in like the top 3 or top 5. It was crazy. So we went up there. Wow. A bunch of friends came up. It was so cool. And that was my first real taste of like competition. And having a structured competition where you're running like tandem, not real tandem. We're talking pretty far distance tandem, but you're still on a track pretty close to each other. Yeah. And you're having a top 16 and not just kind of going out there and doing single run stuff. Yeah. And I ended up winning the event. I won like $990 something US in cash and like 4 tires. And I was blown away. That was like my first like big break of like, holy,
it could be kind of real. Like,
this is crazy.
Yeah.
I remember coming with a wad of cash in my pocket, like, what should I buy for my car?
What did you buy? Do you remember what
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was either like, it was probably
at the moment it's something super important, but now it's like
wheels for sure. Cause I was still on 16s.
Yeah.
So wheels and a paint job.
Okay. And what did you want to be on wheels? Do you want to be on 18s?
I just wanted to be on 17s.
17s. Okay.
Yeah. So I got 17s. And then I also prepped my car for just some single stage paint, but I just needed it to be all one color.
Yeah.
And got it painted. And then after that round, I drove my car from New Hampshire all the way out to Formula Drift Chicago. No radio in the car or anything. And I slept in the parking lot of Soldier Field to the next day. I like rolled out this old like camping sleeping bag in the parking lot and just slept on there for a couple hours.
Oh my gosh.
And then got ready for the event. And that's when I kind of caught like a big break. Essentially I knew I was going to be good here or better because it was a parking lot event. So it's more what I'm used to practicing in.
Okay.
So low horsepower car is going to do well.
Yeah.
Quicker transitions.
Okay.
At that point, like speed wasn't a huge factor. So small tires and the whole thing wasn't a big deal. And having a slow car in general.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and back then the qualifying format was a little different. You qualify you have to qualify to get into the main day qualifiers.
Okay.
And I ended up qualifying like second place or something out of, I don't even know how many drivers, but I instantly got approached by like a couple tire sponsors and the whole thing. And I'm just like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. Like, heck yeah.
When was the Atlanta event to that period?
I want to say probably like 4 months maybe.
Wow. What a crazy timeline for you.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm driving every event, every grassroots event I possibly can still at that point. Yeah. So you're gaining a lot, you know?
That's amazing.
And then just throwing every bit of cash, like I said, straight back into your car.
So how did Chicago go?
So it went awesome. Yeah. Qualified second into the main day qualifiers. Main day, I didn't qualify into the main show. Yeah. That was still a little ways off as far as my skill set and car concerned. But it was really neat. So got to reestablish a friendship with like Chris Forsberg and Tony Angelo and Vaughn. And they kind of pulled me aside and were like, yo, dude, like, you're doing a great job. We know you're getting approached by these people. Like, this is how you should navigate this. So they're like, don't change your car. You don't want to drive on something into the next day with a new setup on your car with tires you've never driven on and the whole thing. So they were like, just, say this is how you want to work it. And then just say, we'll keep in touch. And I'd, love to talk about next year type of thing. So they coached me through that, which is phenomenal.
Wow.
And at that same point, I met Robbie Nishida, who was driving for Falcon Tire as well. And he was, a Japanese driver.
Right.
And he was the nicest dude. And he spoke perfect English because he worked on one of the U.S. military bases over in Japan. And I'm like, and he was just so nice. He would just talk to me, and I learned so much from him that weekend. Like, I left that weekend so on another level mentally and so energized and ready to just like see this whole thing through wherever it was going to go. Like, I'm on this mission.
That's amazing. So you started sponsor conversations at that point.
Yeah. So sponsor conversations at that point. And then fast forward to the end of the year, Tony Angelo and I kind of hooked up and kept talking quite a bit. And he found some cash. I think we got like $15,000. So we kind of teamed up a little bit for the 2006 season to work together.
Yep.
And made the whole season work on like $15,000, wow, which is ridiculous.
That's amazing.
And I didn't have. Oh, actually, no, sorry. So I got picked up by another friend of mine, Jeff Ricca, who owns CIP Motorsports or 240 SX Motoring. Okay. He now runs an SRO and runs the Hyundai program there.
Yep.
But he was my first sponsor. And he had my first legit sponsor. He had built a drift car to promote his shop and asked me to drive it. I was like, what?
Driving someone else's
car. I got
like
$15,000 for my car, and we kind of split the coast. So we used his car for the East Coast rounds,
yeah,
and then we shipped my car west and used my car for the West Coast rounds. And so that's how I made it work on $15,000. I think I paid Jeff for some stuff, but nothing substantial. He covered a lot of the costs.
Amazing.
And I think I had a little bit of cash left over at the end of that year.
Yeah.
And I bought a pickup truck so I could start towing my car around.
Still all of it about
like still working to the next level. So, but that was crazy. And that was my first real taste because in 2006, that was my first full season of FD. So I did all 6 rounds of the championship.
Wow.
So that was a huge eye-opening experience. And I had a big event in Sonoma Raceway in 2006. I think I finished 5th or 4th or something. I ended up having an intercooler pipe blow off, unfortunately, and that ended my battle. It was like, it was crazy. And like
the highest highs and lowest lows and like the shortest motorsports, amazing.
But to give like more context about how big this was for me and like being an FD all of a sudden, it's just like all of a sudden, like this all happened. And my brother was on a on tour at that point in the Marine Corps. So I was writing this letter to him about Sonoma and how I finished. And he told me this actually just recently. He's like, dude, back then when you sent me that letter, I couldn't even believe it. I thought it was fake. He's like, all of a sudden you're running like a professional series and you're sponsored with this other car and doing this.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it just didn't even seem
it's
real.
Not possible.
Yeah.
No. And it's like, you couldn't plan it that way. Right. And so you just have to keep showing up, and sometimes you just don't know when the chance is going to be. And it could be 20 years from now, or it could be 2 months from now. And like, that's
exactly. Yeah.
You got a short window in that.
So I didn't that was my best finish was like 5th or 6th. And then beyond that, it was like some events I didn't qualify for, other events I knocked out the first round. So it was also still a big learning season, was my first season of FD.
Okay.
And then 2007 was a big year in many other ways, in the sense that we got a little more cash, got like 20 grand, and Tony and I decided to start our own team together.
Okay.
We called it Team Snakebite.
Nice.
And he ran an RX-8 that Reese Millen had built previously for Rod Millen to do drifting.
Yeah.
So he bought that car to campaign, and then I built another 240SX. This time it was a coupe, which I loved.
Where was the money coming from?
Sponsor.
Well,
like,
what kind of sponsors?
I sold my old car, and then I sold some of the spare parts I had from that.
Okay.
And I was still working for my dad. So since drifting wasn't taking, in 2006, drifting didn't take a ton of my money. And I was able to buy a pickup truck. So I still had money. I was still working for my dad during this whole time.
Okay.
And still saving. My dad was always a huge advocate. He's always telling me, save your money. If you have any money to save it, that kind of thing. So
that's cool.
But it was all going to go back into the car.
Okay.
And so, or race or drifting in some way, shape or form.
Right.
So 07 was a big year because Tony's like, dude, you got to come out west. We're going to build these cars out west. I'm like, jeez, Chris, I got to go to California.
From New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal. And I didn't even drive out there, I think, until like February or something, or middle of February, which is pretty late to be like, we still got to build this whole car and like get a trailer.
October is the year before. Is
right.
When we should be.
You think about that now, I'm like, we were such idiots. But I had to work for my dad. I was really nervous. I'm like, I have to save enough money to do this, dude. Like, I don't want to run out.
Yeah.
And so I tell my dad, he knows what's going on. He's like, all right. He's, has my other 2 brothers to help out, and everybody kind of steps up when someone kind of goes out and does something else. So
nice.
So that was all worked out, and I move out there, and we just get to work. He was kind of all squared away for the most part because he's buying a car that was already working. And he helped me a ton. Tony Angelo helped me a ton build my S13, and we built it in the garage of this place called Camp Snakebite, which was like basically an early 2000s drifting incubator, because a lot of pro drivers came through there and had lived there at one point in time to then go get into Formula Drift type of thing.
Really?
So it was really neat and a cool place, and had a lot of fun there. But that's where I ended up building my cars, in the garage of that house. Wow. And then campaigning it that whole season. And that's when things kind of took a turn, unfortunately, where just a lot of mechanicals, truck failures, just the tow truck blew transmission in it. And I mean, we're working with 20 grand to run a whole season of Formula Drift and do it all on our own. So it was tough. It was really hard. And by the end of that year, I was in debt, ran out of money. Yeah. And I was basically ready to like, all right, I'm going to take a step back, and I don't know if I'm going to come back.
Sure.
Type of thing.
What do you remember, like the moment of that? Do you remember the fight or flight moment of like looking at the credit card bill? And
yes.
Like, tell us, take us back to that moment.
We're driving across country for like the 5th time that year, all the way back to the West Coast to work on our broken cars. Yeah. And we're in New Mexico, and the transmission blows like a gear broke or something in the trans. Oh. It was an older Dodge, but it had the NV 6500, the 6-speed. Yeah. And I'm towing like probably 35,000 pounds in the trailer of all our entire lives in there. Yeah. Way overweight for this thing. And we, it's like
you're the reason DOT laws are as bad as they are now.
For sure. And we're on our last cross country trip, right? Like towards the end of this season.
It's like, and it's just shit season.
Just shit, dude. Just like we're pulling the head off every event to pull a throttle body screw out of the cylinder. If it didn't destroy the valves, I'm like drilling out the multi-layer head gasket and copper spraying each side to put it back together and then slap the engine back together. Like just dumb stuff because you're broke. Yeah. And then we get to New Mexico and the transmission breaks. And I'm like, dude, we're like dead broke. I have my credit card, but you know, I know what a credit card is. I know that's just debt, you know? So I was scared, like get emotional, start crying a little bit, like rock bottom.
Right.
And then, you know, whatever, you just figure it out. Right. Time goes by and you're like, all right, that's what we got to do.
Though, like, I think those are key moments, right? Where it's hard to get advice, right? You're in that, the darkness and you don't really see the path out at that moment, right? Like we don't have perspective or the hindsight's 20/20 type of experience, right? And you're young, so you haven't been through a lot of these ebbs and flows in life.
Right.
And so it's like those are the moments it's super hard, it's super important to push through, right? And not give up. But you also, people can disappear at that moment, or they totally go off and become an accountant and they just stop pursuing the dream.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, those are the ones. I mean, we still had to finish the year, so it's just one of those things where you hit rock bottom and it's like, well,
still got to keep going.
Still got to keep going. We can only go up from here.
It out? What did you do?
Well, we put it on the credit card and then that was it, you know, got it fixed. And
were you stuck in New Mexico for a while, or?
Well, we figured it out. We're traveling with 2 other people. Okay. So thankfully it wasn't like we're just on our own. Like, it was, we had some proper help and got the truck to a trans place, got the trailer sorted out. Big thanks to all our friends, you know, at that point, everybody's just doing what they can.
That's awesome.
And so I got the trans back in the truck, and then we had Seattle and Irwindale still to do.
Okay.
And the new trans, I put like these coolers on it and an electric pump and a fan on the cooler. And like you could turn and we had a temperature sensor on the trans, and then you could turn the pump on and cool the transmission down.
Wow.
So that was like,
and we're going to make that mistake again.
We're going to make it better.
Yeah.
It has to be better. So then we finish out the year, and I mean, there's so much more I could dive into with the mechanicals and the hardship even further. Yeah. Clutch welding to the flywheel before the event. Car falls off the jack stands, and my buddy could have been under there and something bad. You know what I mean? Like there's all these like crazy moments in this really difficult year that have happened that I'm thankful weren't worse. Yeah. You know, it's just you kind of look back on it.
Do you think there were small mistakes because you're trying to catch up from the last one, or I think when you look back on that year, is there something else, or is it just kind of bad luck all piled up?
I think it's just an experience.
Yeah.
You know, I made my car different than I used different parts.
Okay.
And they created different problems.
Okay.
And things I was never experienced in, right? Because I had more of an OEM setup, OEM intake manifold, OEM this and this. And, you know, those are all worked out things. They're designed by an engineer
for 100,000 plus miles, and like even though we're doing hard stuff in motorsports, it is still engineered for that.
But now I'm actually hot rodding the car,
right? And these crazy one-off things,
and I don't know how to, I don't know what the right situation is for some of these parts and how to control them and actuate them and all of that. So it was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
So we finish off the year. I end up crashing a car. We cut it up and throw it out, unfortunately. Yeah. Nice. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy this open trailer. We sold our big trailer, so I used that cash to buy an open trailer, load all my stuff on this open trailer, just dresser, drum set, random stuff. And my cousin flies out, and we drive home together.
From California?
Just with all my crap on an open trailer.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, all right, time to figure it back out. So then I fly out to SEMA. At this point, I'm like, I'm going through the motions, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do for next year. Like, I don't have a car. I have all my parts from the car because we just pulled the subframes and engine and everything and then just scrapped the car.
Yeah.
But so I knew I could build something if I had to, but at this point, I'm like, I just don't know what's going to happen here. This is a really hard year. And I had to take a breather to figure it out. And so I ended up going to SEMA, and import drag racing was really big still at this time. So Gary Gardella was kind of seeing the writing on the wall, as kind of like Papadakis and some of those other guys probably did, where the fan base was dwindling on import drag racing.
Yeah.
And maybe some mismanaged situations. I'm not sure how deep that goes, why the series kind of stopped, but it did. And Gary was picking up doing front wheel drive drag racing and multiple other series to kind of keep going with his contracts, I believe. And he saw drifting as like, maybe there's something here. And he was factory backed by General Motors, and he had an insane professional program.
Wow.
Like proper professional motorsports program. And my manager knew him, so they started chatting and they started working some things out. And then all of a sudden I have this full suit and helmet deal, and I'm just showing up to the track and driving a prepared race car.
What?
For 2008. Yeah, and we all worked it out.
SEMA was the catalyst.
Yeah, we all worked it out at like getting lunch at some, one of those random cafeteria spots at SEMA.
But there's another moment where you could have not gone to SEMA from being burnt out.
100%.
Right? And
absolutely
would have not got that deal. So like pushing through those challenging times.
And that's what kept my motivation moving forward, was that situation. And now I get to drive something that other people are experienced in doing. With hot rodding the car and knowing how to do it properly. And
what was the reason you had a manager? When did you get a manager, and why did you do that?
It's kind of funny because Von Gittin was the one who got a manager, and it was Jacob Agajanian, and he runs from a long line of motorsports management, and actually owned Ascot Raceway out in Southern California. So he's been in racing his whole life. His family's been in racing their whole lives. They owned a NASCAR team at one point and the whole thing.
Wow.
So they, at that point, Jacob, to tie this all together, Jacob had put together this crossover event with NASCAR drivers and drift drivers at Irwindale Speedway one year.
Okay.
And NASCAR drivers got on the drift cars to drive. And Vaughn, being a very savvy, business-minded individual, started talking to Jacob, and he found out that Jacob was one of Casey Kane's managers, and that his father owned this called Motorsports Management International, I believe, MMI.
Okay. And
it was a firm, or I guess you could say a firm,
an agency,
motorsports agency that sponsor or were managers for a lot of drivers. And he convinced Jacob to manage him, and then Jacob talked to his dad, and got a second manager to help, because I think Vaughn was like, well, you gotta, help all my buddies out too. So that was so he got Vaughn, Chris Forsberg, Tony Angelo, and myself. Wow. So that following year, we started working together at the end of 2007, and that following year was my first actual manager. He worked for Jacob, was named Blair. And Blair worked for Reese Millen and was his team manager for, I think, 2 seasons in FD. So it was a familiar face.
Right.
And that's who worked the deal with Gary Gardella. Jeez. And I got my ride and drive, our suit and helmet deal. And that's pretty much what started. Because all of a sudden I'm like,
what were you driving? What was that car?
It was a Pontiac Solstice.
Okay.
And the first year of a campaign was it was stock engine with a little bit of power increase, but pretty much low power. But still better than a car that I had built previously.
Yep.
It's more put together.
Just professionally built in that sense.
The first team that put a quick change rear end in a drift car.
Okay.
So that was a huge help with the lower horsepower. They were able to gear the car perfectly for every track.
Wow.
Which got us around some of the tougher ones with low horsepower. So gearing, that's when I understood, wow, gearing is huge in this sport, because I'm just a dumbass kid still who barely knows how to modify a car properly.
Sure.
And has no
H
experience.
pattern, manual still, or?
It was H pattern for the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Okay.
And I kept munching the transmission.
Yeah.
So they ended up went straight to a 6-speed sequential.
Wow.
Like a Quaife box.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why they did that, but they did, and it was awesome. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Sequential at that point, you're just blown away. A sequential transmission?
Yeah.
Are you fucking crazy? What? So it was so cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, we need less gear, so I could use all 6 gears every single time.
Yeah. Or more power.
Yes.
One of the ways I got to get through. Yeah,
yep, exactly.
Get through these gears. That's amazing.
So I got my first podium in 2008. I got 3rd place at Road Atlanta.
Okay.
And then had some other really great finishes throughout that year. And then they were like, all right, we're going to build a serious car now. So we got one of the legit GM 4-cylinder race engines.
Wow.
And they built the whole car properly, from the ground up.
Huh.
And
is your manager managing all your partners? Because you have a lot of stickers on the car, and like,
yeah,
so there's
it was
how did that work?
Some Gardella and some mine. So I brought the tire sponsor the first year, which was Maxxis Tires.
Yeah.
And then Gary obviously brought Mobil 1 and GM and some other supporters on his side.
Yep.
And at that point, I was able to take the tire money as cash to pay myself, which for me was like a substantial amount of money. It was like 25 or 30 grand. I was like, okay.
That's a real job money at that time.
Sweet. Yeah. But I'm still working for my dad at this point. So I'm pretty much just put that money in my savings account, and then I'm still just living off of working for my dad full time still. So that is really kind of what continued to help my situation, is just now having a way to save money, keeping that money where it's safe and like not having to touch it, and then building kind of on top of that.
It is funny when you're doing something. Most people look on from the outside. You're doing these amazing drift things, and then like on Tuesday you're at home power washing again, right? Like you're back to normal life.
Yeah.
And all the people around you don't care. They know that you just did something amazing that like all these other people aspire to do and be, and like. Your 20s must have been a weird dichotomy of these like crazy highs and like interesting just normal life, back to normal life.
It was all normal for me though. I mean, the drifting side was getting like a little leveled up each time.
Okay.
But I was always so humbled when I come home, not necessarily even humbled.
Just used to that. You're just like back to normal life.
Yeah. And I say this now, I'm like, the best years of drifting were like, even a struggle in 2007, but we're like 2006 all the way to like 2011. Because then after that, it was like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook nonstop. And now you used to be able to go to the racetrack, race, do your thing, and then go home. And then nobody even knew what you were doing. Yeah. Unless you showed up at a grassroots event or whatever. Yeah. But now you have to constantly
do stuff.
Tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah. It's the only way for it to stay connected.
Exactly.
I actually do want to get into your content stuff here in a little bit, but let's stay back in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range. So you guys built another car, and now you have the next season you did the same thing with the same team, or like a bigger car though?
Yep. So same chassis. Well, the Pontiac Solstice still, but now built into like a proper pro spec, top tier level drift car.
Okay.
And at that time, 450 horsepower was top tier.
Right. Like you couldn't do much more with the more power at that point, right?
At that point, yeah, because
you're tires and you just didn't know what way to get
the top guys knew how to set a car up, but you're not getting a ton of grip out of the tires anyways. But 450 will do it. Right. Yeah, back then for us. In our chassis, there was no weight to tire. There was no, there weren't these like extra rules involved to help level the playing field. So we had a 25, no, I think it was less. I think it was like 2,400 pound car, making 450 horsepower on a 275, 35, 18 tire.
Wow.
And it was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
It was super fast. The only issue with that car was that such a short wheelbase. It was like 95 or 94 inches. It got really twitchy at times.
Yeah. That's like a Ford Fiesta for us in rally. Like we like twitchy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine in drifting when you're trying to like make these smooth transitions, and if the car's all
it was tough because if somebody made a mistake and you reacted big to their mistake, then it would be difficult to
maintain the car.
Maintain like a small mistake would become a big one type of thing.
Okay.
But it was a great car nonetheless, and it really progressed my skill set. So I come out into Long Beach, our first round of the year, and I get my first win. It was crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's brand new car.
Yeah.
So it's fulfilling expectations.
I bet the sponsors were just over the moon.
Well, at this point, we're in the housing crisis.
Oh, yeah.
The economy is all blown up.
Right.
Gary's pulling out of pocket to make everything happen still, as an investment to
the future.
Hopefully the future.
Yeah.
And just doing it.
And
we're
Formula
lucky.
Drift is really on its trajectory at that point, right? Like
it was sustaining, but they were having their troubles too. Like that second year, I think 2007, they had Circuit City as a title sponsor, and like there was still a lot of money out there for sponsor support, because now FD is having some success and they're grabbing these sponsors that are all in motorsports because they think motorsports is a big thing, and they're kind of riding. Maybe this is my thought or theory back then was like they're not riding the coattails, but they're like in the same field that import drag racing is in, type of deal.
Yeah.
So they're kind of in those same circles and able to.
So can we blame FD for Circuit City's lack of? They're disappearing now. They disappeared.
I know. Well, that was the unfortunate part, because then in 2008 they didn't have Circuit City as a sponsor because they was mismanaged maybe and filed Chapter 11 or whatever. So. We're pulling through that, but 2009 was a great year.
Okay.
Get my first win. I'm in contention for the championship. Had a couple bad rounds. So I was like, I think I was coming into that round, maybe 10, 15 point deficit. I can't remember exactly. So I had to qualify first or second and win the event to like have a shot at doing it. And Chris Forsberg was winning the championship at that point. So I had to take it away from him somehow.
Yep.
So I go there, Irwindale Speedway, last round of the championship, and I qualify second, and I come out the next day and I win the event. But Chris moved on one more round than I needed him to, and he ended up winning by like 4 points. Oh. It was crushing.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Absolutely crushing.
So that was 2008.
That was 2009. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first year in a proper top tier car.
Yeah. What was he in?
He was in his 350Z that had the V8 in it. I'm going to forget if it was the VK. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but yeah. He had it worked out, and that was his third year of development, I think, in that car. And he had it sorted. He was running really good. Yeah. Yeah.
So is that your best finish? Second?
Yeah. Still to this day, second place in the championship is my best finish. I have not had the top step.
Okay. Well, is that still on the horizon? Or is that something that you're trying to achieve still, or where are you at right now?
Yeah, it's always there for sure. You're always trying to. These days, I try to take it more one day at a time or one event at a time, and just plug away, chip away, do the work, and kind of see where you get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were talking about through 2011, drifting was more of your guys' sport, and then content creation and making a profile for yourself becomes a thing, right?
Yes.
So when did you kind of see the writing on that wall, and what was that like for kind of living through the golden era into this, constant social media craze?
There was kind of a turning point for me in ways that I didn't know yet. And in that 2009 championship where I lost, I kind of didn't know yet, but I knew it, but I didn't know how to kind of place this thought. And I had a thought, I was like, well, I can't let these, and this also was derived a little bit from like the uncertainty of sponsors and if they're going to come back and the economy and the whole thing, and like living 1 year at a time, like hoping things work out. And like, is Gary going to continue investing and the whole thing? So my thought was, since I lost the championship, you can always go back in drifting and say, like, that's a technicality. I would have won on that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like a coulda, shoulda, woulda thing.
Oh, sure.
And I did that a lot back then.
Sure.
Now it doesn't matter because it comes back around again.
Right. Yeah.
It comes back around again. But back then, just so new to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to let the judges dictate my future in this sport.
Oh, interesting.
So I just didn't know how I could achieve like doing other things because there wasn't that yet.
Sure.
So there wasn't YouTube content and social media to capitalize and fulfill.
Make your profile, make the Ryan Tuerck story versus to
make results less significant.
Oh, interesting.
Type of thing.
Okay.
So once I kind of had that thought, I started going down that path of spending more time in putting effort into Facebook And in 2009, I released that video called Off Seasons in my S13 here locally in New Hampshire. And that did really well.
Okay.
And then at that point, you know who Ken Block is.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is my thought.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Right.
So then I've used a lot of inspiration from Ken's career to do the same thing in my career in a different level, of course. But
sure.
How
did you produce that first series? Was it just a buddy with a camera? Like, what did you guys?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first Off Seasons video, we had a friend, Andy Laputka, who's one of the partners at Race Service now. Okay. And we've all of us have kind of stayed pretty tight in the working motorsports world and business side of things. And Andy was tapped by Tony Angelo because they went to college together in Philadelphia.
Of course.
And he grew up, filming skate videos. That's so perfect. Come over here and film some drifting stuff. So he filmed the Drift Alliance stuff drifting team that was formed between Vaughn, Chris, Tony, Ryan Hampton, myself, and some other drivers from Club Loose. Okay. And they started producing content then, but these were going on DVDs. It wasn't even YouTube yet. Okay. So we already had kind of that, but it wasn't super easy to do it, right? Because now you're filming content, but you have to put it on a DVD to distribute it to people. It's not a just put it up on the internet and everybody can consume it type of thing.
It's like old skate videos, right? You're like
exactly.
Yeah. DVDs.
So I guess that's where my thought had come from. And then YouTube now becoming more of a thing. Yep. And I think I started my channel in like 2010. Yep. And then Jacob Bagajanian, our manager, I don't know how he came across this contact, but it was a YouTube channel called Network A, and they wanted to, invest some money into shows and whatnot. Okay. And I had all these ideas coming from a BMX side and dirt bike side of a background. It was like, how can I relate that to the car thing? Yep. And then influence from Ken, of course. Yep. And just used all of those influences and coming up with some ideas for drifting. And that's when the Network A show kind of kicked off. Okay. Now that's obviously from 2009 to when that kicked off in 2012, I think. Yep. It was a little bit of time there to catch up to that. But that's when I really spent more time on developing a persona, or not a persona because I'm still myself, but I guess a profile, a reputation kind of off track as well.
Right. Interesting. So did you find that as work, or do you find as much is that entertaining for you? Like, how do you feel about content creation?
Everything I've done, I get really locked in on. Okay. And if it's new, I'm like, I get really scared of it failing type of thing. Okay. So I will lock in and that's it. I'm going to do this one thing and I'm going to do it the best I can possibly can. I'm going to do it the best I possibly can with the knowledge and experience that I have. Sure. And that's pretty much what I did for those videos, was like for the ideas and everything that kind of came up, and just try to execute the best that we could. Yeah.
Do you enjoy it though?
That's the hard part, right? Because you're now looking at it to be a stepping stone or something for success.
Right. So but still for the racing too,
still
right?
For racing, but it makes it hard. It takes away from the fun factor, right? Right. Because now you have a different type of pressure than competition. Now you have a type of pressure because you only have X amount of dollars to produce this one thing. Right. And if it doesn't go well, right, then you're going to be looked at from these other people as a failure. Right. And thankfully that didn't happen really at all.
As not quite as enjoyable as obviously as far as the motorsport and the actual racing side. Like, you didn't want to necessarily become a YouTube social media personality in drifting. You just did that because of drifting.
Right. Like I think they both, for me, balanced myself out, because I didn't want to only be a competition driver. I also wanted to enjoy like what drifting gave to me in the beginning, like the grassroots side of it, and just the no pressure, fun, hanging out with your friends and just burning tires and getting better at it type of feeling that it always gave me. So the competition would take that away a little bit,
Sure.
because there's a lot more pressure on your shoulders there.
Yeah.
And then the videos were kind of an outlet for that, as
Yeah.
far as getting ideas out there and making them come true. But it was also pressure there as well, just not as much as the competition side, thankfully.
Okay.
So I had to
That's
do
interesting.
both to kind of feed myself from getting burnt out.
And I think there's a lot of people now too, right? Like if you're looking at motorsports and trying to get into motorsports now, and everyone, I use Ken as an inspiration. Pretty much everyone I think in motorsports has used Ken as inspiration. And you have a lot of people that are looking to get into motorsports and using Ken as an inspiration. It's like you can become popular on social media and use that as an access to motorsports now, right? Like you can go the other way, right? You can
Right.
find a way to get, and that's where sponsor dollars now. Everyone wants you to get ROI, and ROI comes in views and eyeballs. And so is it people in the stands at a drift event, or is it the guys on your YouTube channel? Like,
Right.
why are they sponsoring you, and what are their return on investment expectations?
Exactly.
And, like the world is definitely a bit different in that sense now.
It has grown in a, yeah. So where from then to where we're at now it's a lot harder to do it now, right? Because the space is so diluted.
Everybody's trying.
Everybody's trying, which is great because there's so much amazing content that you can go out and watch, and
Right.
you can learn and almost do everything from YouTube University. But
what's out
it's
there.
yeah.
How do you create original content these days?
Right.
And
Exactly.
Ken figured it out, and we all want to, I think, emulate the part of Ken as the do something no one else has done. But there's a lot of people that have tried.
A lot has been done now. He has created
There's
quite an awesome thing in
high
motorsport.
Pinnacle of like, how do you do something totally crazy? And yeah, no, we haven't figured it out yet, right?
Correct.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
Yep.
So from 2012 to 2025, there's a good 13-year period there. What did you do in that time? Are you working with your dad still? Like, how are you paying your bills? What's your life like?
Yeah,
You
so-
have a family now. When did
Yeah.
that whole come into play? Like, let's get through those years.
Couple big moments, even before 2012, that I'll touch on briefly. Still working for my dad. The Gardella relationship kind of came to a point where I wanted to go in a different direction.
Okay.
And there was a little bit of contention there.
Oh,
and I think it was from both sides a little bit.
Sure.
And I just was like, all right, I'm just going to go do my own thing.
Yeah.
So we split at the end of 2011, and I started my own thing in 2012. He ended up selling the team, the truck, the cars, the whole program. He ended up selling it and just kind of getting out of drifting altogether, unfortunately, because I look back at it now, and he played a really pivotal role in drifting in the beginning years, because he was one of only 2 or 3 teams that showed up with a very professional motorsport presence and a very professional high-level program.
Okay.
With proper technicians, proper crew chief. Like, he really kind of
professional and had the paddock
and everything that he learned from professional import drag racing and being with a factory program.
Okay.
So he brought that to drifting and I learned a lot from that, of course, too, just being young and soaking everything
This is
up.
what it's like. This is just what professional motorsport looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was some things that I guess I was young too, and I was like, you know what?
I want more. I want this.
I kind of I felt like maybe my hands at that age, I felt like my hands are kind of tied behind my back a little bit, and I wasn't able to do some of the things I wanted to.
Do what we tell you to do.
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing crazy. I think it all probably could have been worked out if I was a little less inexperienced and young.
Okay.
But it didn't go that way, so it's okay. And then I went off and found a situation that I could work back towards another goal.
Okay.
At that point, I saved enough money working for my dad to buy a foreclosed house.
Nice.
And my brothers and I all bought it together. And
in New Hampshire?
Yeah, in New Hampshire. It was this crazy large house, and it was built by a kook. He was a kook the way he designed this house, but nobody wanted to live there. Yeah. And it was like a 4,500 square foot house with an in-law apartment downstairs.
Wow.
So it ended up selling for like $240,000.
Wow.
But it was uninhabitable, so it was in the winter time.
Okay.
You know, he pulled all the stuff out of the house like they did
pulled all the
back
copper
then.
and tried to sell
that type
it
of thing.
Yeah.
So, and this is one of my other big eye-opening experiences, and like from an entrepreneurial standpoint, was we did a hard money loan at like 10% interest from our real estate agent's boss. Wow. So he flowed us like $200,000 because we had to buy the house cash,
right,
then fix the house, and then get the loan from the bank.
Right.
So we did that, and I was scared absolute shitless out of my mind, because I'm like, I saved $50,000 to put a down payment on a house, and like, we're gonna borrow this much money, and then we have X amount of time to pay it off. Like all these things. It was nuts. It was such a surreal, weird experience in life doing that. But my dad assured me, like, it's all gonna work out. Don't worry about it. Like, this is a smart decision. Right. So we did that, and got into the house, and now we have a frat house. For drifting. Brothers. Oh, me and my brothers, and we filled every bedroom in the house with people to rent. So we like, the property taxes weren't going to be super expensive. The unit downstairs was rented, so it was perfect. And the three of us were all splitting the mortgage plus, so it worked out great.
Oh my gosh!
And then
what year was this?
I think we got the house in 2009 or beginning of 2010.
So still reeling from the 08.
Beginning of 2010.
Okay. Yeah. So probably he was caught up in the 08 stuff, I would bet, the guy in the house.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, I think he mortgaged the place at like almost $800,000.
Right.
And then it sold on a bank from the bank at $240,000. Like crazy.
And they're just desperate to get out of everything like that,
right?
Like,
so they're just get out of here. Yeah, because
my gosh,
they're all getting bailed out. So
well, and if there's no heating system in New Hampshire, like that's such a huge
winter
deal
time,
for us.
We had to defrost the house with all the heaters and whatnot, just to find out where the holes were in the pipe and the lines and all that.
Oh
and
my gosh,
it was. I look back at it now, I'm like, what a cool experience of like a full DIY. Like,
yeah. You probably could build most of a house now from having to repair.
No, I mean, we hired professionals to do it, but thankfully we have a lot of friends that are all in trade work. So it was easy to get people there to help us out.
That's amazing.
So it was cool. Yeah. Now we're living in it. Now I'm living like the real drift life in the New Hampshire drift house with my brothers and other friends that are in the cars.
Yeah.
And flying around and doing FD. And then I decided to blow it all up in 2012 and leave a really cool situation.
What most people would say is like a pinnacle.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
So anyway, then I went out on my own, and I started driving for this guy named David. Retax Backpacks was his business, and he campaigned a car.
Okay.
And it was an S13 with a LS engine in it.
Okay.
And I flew out there, and it was pretty wrecked. So went out there and went to work. And at this point, I had a lot more experience in knowing how to build an S13 or just build a car in general.
Yeah.
So we did some reliability stuff and some suspension stuff. Nothing insane. I'm still not that detailed back then.
Sure.
But I knew enough on how to make the car comfortable to drive. And
yeah. Well, you know what good feels like. And
exactly.
If something's wrong, you're just chasing whatever that is until it feels right.
Yep, exactly. And went out and had a pretty good year. Okay. Finished top 5 in that car. Had like 2 or 3 podiums.
Nice.
A really underpowered car for what was now out on the track that day, or those days. So it was cool, and it was a great stepping stone, and it got me to 2013, where I partnered with this other shop called Portland Speed Industries, and met some great people there. And it just put me on this other path of kind of more from, a level up from my early years. So now understanding sponsorships, having proper sponsorships, and being able to put together a pretty decent program. Okay. So we built our Scion FRS at that point, back in 2013 to campaign. And then I was in an FRS / GT86 up until 2019.
Oh, wow.
So I went through those years and had varying degrees of success and
But this
hardships.
was your program.
This was now my program.
Okay.
Well, it was kind of split between Retax and myself, but we...
You're a lot more involved on the business side.
Fully involved, yeah. So now I knew way more, had a way better understanding of business.
Yeah.
What return on investment is. Because even when I was with Gardella Racing and I was showing up with a suit and helmet, I still didn't have the full grasp of like how to facilitate a sponsor, how to just fulfill obligations for a sponsorship.
Yeah. Did you make any missteps in the beginning of like learning those things, like overpromising, or
we always overpromise?
Have a hard time delivering?
Always.
Is there a good story that you could share? Do you remember?
No, because we'd always overdeliver.
Okay.
Because it was one of those things where you would lock in. You're like, the contract says this. We said we're going to do this, and we're going to do this.
Okay.
So it was one of those things where it was, however hard it was, or if we went under, had to spend more money to do it. It was something that we always delivered on.
That's probably one of the things I've learned. The amount of money you need to spend to fulfill the sponsor agreement, is typically a large portion of the value of the deal. Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like you got to really be attentive to those numbers and like what is the actual deliverable cost.
You're only looking at the big number,
right? Yeah,
like, whatever that number is that they're gonna give you, you're like, yes.
Yeah, and then you realize, oh shit.
You're like, hold on a second. Wait, what do I have to do?
I gotta hire media people. I gotta do all these things and Oh, okay. Well, there's all that money that I.
I'm gonna make it work though.
Yeah. No, well, and that's how you keep getting deals, right?
Exactly.
You burn one of those partnerships and you're done.
Exactly. So you need to have you need to have a good reputation, and as far as return on investment and fulfilling sponsorships. That's probably. I mean, that's what drives our sport for the drivers.
Were you talking to OEMs, or how were you putting the sponsor deals together? Were they...
My manager, so Jacob.
Okay.
Jacob was still he was the main dude because I was still kind of slowly understanding the business side as well, and he was the smart. He had all the experience in doing that and putting the deal points together and making sure that we could deliver on these, even though we would still put a lot in there. It was like it was in those days where sponsors were finally starting to spend more money again. Like we've come out of the funk of the economy, and like things started turning back around, and money was starting to trickle in, and you'd have
Formula Drift at that point was really getting big traction.
It was, right? It had a lot of traction.
That was one of the best race series outside of NASCAR that you could like ROI dollars. It seemed for a company like
because every company wanted to touch the young generation,
right?
Marketing wise, and that's all we had.
Right.
We still have those age ranges.
Eyeballs,
so the demographic was there, and I'm not gonna. Nobody really was getting rich or anything, but we were able to all sustain, which was great.
Right.
And slowly, like, kind of build on that.
Which is, in motorsport, almost unheard of, and almost every other motorsport's kind of really after 2008.
I know
was really struggling, where drift figured it out, seemed to
kind of in our own little bubble for a while there. And I don't even think I realized kind of what it is on the other side of motorsports and road racing and obviously rally as well, and kind of what those situations were. I'm like, what do you mean?
You guys aren't all seeing an upward trajectory and more sponsor dollars.
Totally. And because you're just numb, and
you're got to be hyper focused in your little world.
Yeah, like, you just don't know unless you know somebody in that world. You just don't know.
Yeah,
that's really cool. You see guys like Ken and Travis into rally, so you think like there's
the rest of the sport is
over there.
Yeah,
and then you see why am I brain farting on the short course?
Oh yeah,
racing.
Those
that came on board. That came on like with the X Games and everything, and then you're like, whoa, there's definitely money in that sport. I want to do that.
Yep.
Not because of the money, but because it looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but it looked like it was getting a lot of attention too, and I think some of those guys, Robbie Gordon's little like short course series that he
Stadium
did.
Super Trucks deal,
that seemed
super fun looking.
That marketing, he figured out the marketing side of it, right? It still seems like there's a lot of money in the Desert Southwest and these, Mint 400 and the Baja 1000.
Right.
And
I think those are coming back on again.
Yeah, no, and I did Matt Martelli's podcast, and I got to sit with him and talk with that about like his business of what the structure of that looks like. And there's a lot of interest in that, and so like that's where, and Americans seem to like the big trucks and the high power, right? Like, I don't know if you guys see this in drift, like in rally, we still don't have a ton of like general excitement because the cars are not what Americans buy, right?
I know. Even though they're so trick and so cool,
right?
It's just
there's still that like there's a disconnect.
Past,
so a big truck doing big truck things like that. Those guys have a lot of support.
So much more dramatic.
So you're learning the business, you're figuring it out. You're finding some success getting on podiums through the later 2000s. And when did the family come into play? When did you kind of like start to balance all this stuff?
Dude, not till late. I mean, okay. I never even thought about having kids until I really met my wife now, Shannon. And so kind of went through the motions and kind of continued to build and film content, and then I started building cars, which turned into like a great thing for me, and something that is I love more now than actually driving the car sometimes.
Really?
But we'll get into that in a minute. So 2020, I forget, I think 16 or 17, I think 2017 my wife and I started seeing each other.
Okay.
But we grew up together. I was best friends with her cousin growing up. Her mom taught my twin brother and I kindergarten growing up.
Oh, wow.
And I've known her since we were like 6 or 7 years old. We never dated any time through school.
Yeah.
And then she went off to college and we hadn't seen each other in a long time. And we reconnected on this local lake that her grandparents had a house on.
Nice.
And that everybody partied on type of thing. Yeah. And that was it. Wow. Connected, and
she could handle your lifestyle of disappearing for going pursue motorsports.
She didn't quite understand it at first when we're still like in the early years of like dating. Working on my cars is still a big thing, and increasing, putting different turbo setups and different parts on the car.
Yep.
So I would go down to Jersey to my friend Dominic's shop. And when I would go down there, it's like you're down there for weeks.
Sure.
And you're working 16-hour days to like do whatever upgrade, like a big one to the car.
Right.
And it's so funny because she tells the story now, and she's like, "Yeah, you just disappeared." Like, I don't know if we were dating or not, or like what the deal was.
She's patient.
And then I come out of the hole of work.
Yeah.
To breathe some air, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Surprised she answered the phone.
I'll be back home in another few days. Yeah. You want to hang out?
That's cool.
So
that's a good trial by fire, though, because you set the expectation right from the beginning what this lifestyle is like.
Yep, exactly.
It's a whole package deal.
And then she traveled with me to a lot of the FD rounds for a long time, which is awesome. It's great to have her there, and she's so personable and really fun to be around. So made a lot of friends there. And then I dragged her out to LA. That was another big like point in our relationship where I was like, all my friends are moving to LA to start this company, and I kind of want to be there. So you want to go? And she's like, well, she didn't know. She's like, well, so am I going, or like, let's figure this out.
You're
like,
so used to just kind of making half decisions.
Of course you're going.
Yeah.
I already had it decided in my head. I didn't even realize that she was up in the air.
And questioning whether or not it would happen.
So she came out, and then we were out in LA for about 2.5 years, and then I proposed.
Nice.
We got married, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we've kind of done our time here. We're not going to have, we plan on having kids at that point, talking about it.
Okay.
But we're never going to have them away from friends and family.
Okay.
So I was like, let's go figure it out and go back east.
Yeah.
And start our life over there around our family. And that's what we did, and got married, and then had a boy, I think 1.5 years later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So he's 4 now?
3.5, almost 4.
Okay.
4 in March.
Nice.
Yeah, so 3.5.
Cool.
Yeah.
So hopping back into friends starting a shop in LA, like tell me about that transition into business and turning drifting and your lifestyle into a different business.
So I've been fortunate enough to work with some really phenomenal people throughout my career, and it's just I don't know how it's so crazy how things work and how you meet some people that are really influential on yourself and your career as well. So like I had mentioned Andy LaPuca filmed video for the DVDs and stuff back then. My manager, Jacob, who was also just a really great idea person and really creative beyond being business savvy. And then he met this other guy named James Kirkham, who ended up working at GoPro for a long time and running their motorsports program for a while. And he had a friend named Ryan who was in film school, and I met him out at the Seattle event one year. His name's Ryan Davis. His company was Yair at the time. And we connected really strongly. And he was a huge influence on me. And like he just like one of those super creative types that has amazing ideas and amazing visions. And it's almost like, dude, where does this all come from? Yeah, it's crazy. So those people were all very influential on the business and film and content side. And they had all decided to, some of them worked at Donut. I think James came from GoPro to work at Donut. My manager, Jacob, started working at Donut Media. And then Andy was private contracted to work at Donut Media. Wow. And then Yair eventually became private contracted over there as well. And then I think about a year or two went by at Donut, and their portion of the company kind of got pushed out.
Okay.
And they were kind of left with like, what are we going to do? Well, we still want to do the same thing. So they wanted to do the same thing and service this kind of small area of like motorsports marketing and content creation. So they decided to start Race Service. Oh, okay. And Race Service, which started in the beginning as just a content agency essentially for motorsports.
All right. Nice.
And I moved out there.
And they were doing builds, right? Like that was kind of the content was build content?
Well, Donut. So my first major build, which was with the Ferrari 458 engine and a GT86 chassis, that was all filmed on Donut. And that was kind of one of those programs that they put together, or that we all put together.
Yeah. Whose idea was that?
That was my idea.
Was that your idea?
And we were filming. I got that idea because we were filming Tuerck still for Network A. Yeah. And I met Damon, who is part of Daily Driven Exotics. Yep. And he has a big YouTube channel now. But back then he was up in British Columbia area. No, he was in Vancouver. So we flew out there to film a video with him, and he had a 458 Italia. And at this point, Gumout had already said, we want to do a build project with you. And I'm like, and they presented an idea, and I was like, cool, that's a cool idea. Let's just see kind of where it goes from there. And I wanted to sit on it because it's an idea that had already been done. I'm like, what can we do that's like bigger and better and that hasn't really been done yet? Got it. So I went out there and I filmed this video with Damon and drove his 458, and I also drove some Lamborghini that was incredible as well. And I now had this inspiration. I'm like, the 458 engine is it. Like, imagine if we put that engine in a Toyota chassis. That would be insane. Because then I have the best of both worlds. For me personally, I have this exotic engine that sounds amazing in a drift car. Like, that's cool. And that's kind of where the idea came. So I went back to Gumout, and our buddy Rusty over there, and my friend Kinnan, who was the guy at the agency, kind of fulfilling all the obligations for the sponsor. Yeah. And I was like, all right, we need to do this engine. We need to double or triple the budget, and let's do it. And they said yes. And I was like, what the? You know what I mean? Like, ecstatic. And then that's kind of what kicked that whole.
Where did you find the engine?
It was in a crash car up in NorCal. Okay. And typically when they crash the car, it's usually head on into something. Right. So it's a rear mount, mid-engine car, and it's usually safe and unharmed. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how that went down.
So how much of you were actually part of turning wrenches and building that car versus like the team? And
so I still didn't have, I was a lot better at building, but still not great.
Sure.
And so the person that they teed up to build that car, he was still like a hobbyist builder, but had more experience, and he had employees and that kind of type of thing. Okay. And he did all the fab work and the problem solving and mating the transmission and the adapter plate to the engine and fitting all that stuff up. Okay. Well beyond my experience at that point in time. And then my friend Brian did the electronics package, my crew chief at that point. Okay. He was knee deep in, doing mil-spec wiring stuff. So it was nice to get him on board for that. Nice. And we just figured it all out. I had a lot of sponsor support from sponsors because I already drove an 86. Yeah. Okay. I had an 86 practice car, and now we're building another 86 as like a crazy demo car. Sure. So I had a lot of sponsor support to fulfill part obligations. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Was there any part of that project that was something that surprised you or something that didn't go to plan?
A lot did not go to plan.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot on that car is still not to plan.
You still have the car?
I still have the car, and that's why I don't drive it, is because it really needs like a restoration, and it needs to be brought up to a build spec of like my experience level now.
Sure.
Because back then it was even still
just
pretty far off.
Yeah.
Besides a few things, like the electronics package is phenomenal with all Motec equipment. Suspension package is pretty good, but the transmission was not right for the car, and there was a lot of other little things that were issues that were just never rectified.
Okay.
And because it got so busy, it was such a big success in the beginning. It just instantly just did thing after thing, and it was just Band-Aid after Band-Aid. And
just got to keep it moving.
Yeah. And then 4 or 5 years later, I'm like,
it's
all right,
tired.
cool. I'm going to build another car, and this one is just going to
that poor car is
sit
tired.
around.
Needs some love. Interesting. Yeah, that's funny too how cars, like Tim O'Neill has always told me never to actually be passionate about the car you have to race, right? Because you got to treat this car very poorly if you want to be fully committed to it. And so I never built a GC rally car because I love the platform so much. I don't think I could rally the GC.
You'd always have something in the back.
Like I love the car too much. Like I would just not want to go really hard into the corner like I should. So were you using the Gum Out sponsorship for your drifting? Like were you doing this build content to help your drift? Like how is that all integrated, and how did you deal with all that?
Man, it's just one of those things where you get approached because Gum Out was great to work with, and Rusty over there, who's the head of that part of the brand at the time at ITW, was just a really good at his job, and he just always was down to see how much further he could take the marketing and see what can work.
Okay.
And the brand was doing well. I think it's still doing well. And he was just down to all right, let's do something new. Yeah. Let's keep going with it.
And were you have other partners with the build, or were they the
they were partner? They were the money portion of it for sure.
Awesome.
And we had a few other partners that came on for some money, for monetary support, but nothing major compared to Gum Out. Yeah. And mostly everybody else did a great job just fulfilling us. Parts were obviously huge. Wheels, suspension components, shocks.
Who paid for the camera guys? Like how many camera guys were actually there?
Donut covered that side.
Okay.
Well,
nice.
I forget. I think there was a small monetary exchange there, but I think Donut saw it as a building block for them to really launch their YouTube channel, because it was great content, and it was a pretty fresh thing to do on YouTube at that point. So nice. I think they all saw kind of the value in that, and yeah, I can't remember that honestly, because that was beyond me. I just had to focus on the car build, and they figured out the content side at that point. It's
pretty amazing to think about you coming out of New Hampshire, building the life you built, and pretty big brands are working around you for their success and your success as well. Do you ever reflect on that at all? Or?
I haven't really. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really thought about it like that. It's definitely a cool thing for me, it was always about establishing a great relationship with the partnership.
Okay.
And Rusty at Gum Out was the first one of the excuse me. Rusty was one of the first sponsors that I met that I was really comfortable talking with on almost every level, because he was just a super fun guy.
Okay.
And didn't take anything too seriously, and just, as long as you're doing your job, doing the things you're supposed to do, there wasn't really any quarries or anything like that. So it was really easy to be around him, and that makes you just just become friends,
Sure.
And so
because they were supporting your drifting.
Yeah, he was title sponsor on the competition car.
Right.
Starting in 2016, and then starting in 2016.
Okay.
And then he had more budget that year to spend in the motorsport place. He wanted to keep it in drifting, and that's why he decided, let's do a build project.
Got it.
And that's when we kind of figured that out.
And then you came with a request for even more money, and he's like, hell yeah, let's go.
Man, but that just shows the relationship I had with them, and how he could have said no easily and be like, all right, we'll save that idea for another time kind of deal.
No. Well, and even to be in the right place at the right time, to have Donut coming up and willing to invest that into you as well.
Right.
And
all these things. It's
amazing.
It's hard to reflect on all these things. Because you never do it in the moment. You never do it in the moment.
You can't. Well, you're too busy.
You're just grinding it out, and you're next step, next step, next step. And that's always been the grind, is just continuing all the things and not saying no to any opportunity ever, and just stressing yourself out to figure it all out.
When you were in that 2004, 5, 6 range, and you were just, struggling to do drifting and figure out your life after moto, like, was there ever the goal to be pro? Like were you ever trying to work towards this?
I think there was a short-term goal there, because when in 2004, when Formula Drift started, I didn't even know what Formula Drift was. I didn't even know there's a professional drifting organization started.
Yeah.
And I found out early in 2000, or the end of 2004, I found out that drifting had a professional series. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right.
Yeah.
I need to get there.
Yeah.
And that's when...
Was there a point at which you felt like you finally achieved the pro status? Was that the...
I never thought I was... For many years, I never thought I was like at that official kind of pro status. Like,
okay.
I don't know if that's... I feel like it's kind of like an ego thing.
Yeah.
And
totally.
Being in New Hampshire was just like... I was just always around my friends and like my comfort zone of like my friends, you know what I mean? And even then, even being around like Vaughn and Chris and Tony all the time, it's like they're all from the similar background as me.
Yeah.
From Pennsylvania and
normal
Maryland.
people.
Yeah. And so it's just always, there was never like that inflated ego kind of situation.
Okay.
Which I think kept everybody in check, which was good.
Nice.
And if you ever did, then you're going to get put in check a little bit.
Well, it's a culture problem, right? Like you look at motorsports and other series and NASCAR and like the fighting in the pits and the things that happen, and like rallies the same way I think as drift is like we're all kind of supporting each other. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the way you go out and perform is purely on you, regardless of what happens outside of where door-to-door, like motorsport NASCAR racing, you guys are door-to-door, but in a different way. I feel like there's that competition doesn't stop once it gets off the track.
Right.
Where we in rally and drifting, like it happens in that little moment for us on the stage, for you on the race course, but then we can still be friends off the track and help each other out and support and cheer each other on. And because if you do really well, I bet you guys are all like, that was amazing for your competitors, right? It's not like you got pissed because he did a better job than you.
Absolutely. I don't think that goes for everybody, but I think a lot of the old guard that are still around or most of the drivers, there's still a lot of camaraderie around the pit in drifting. Nice. There used to be a lot more early on because everybody was trying to do this thing we're all trying to achieve, and we're all trying to make it something bigger for ourselves and that whole thing. So there was a lot more back then, I think, or have that feeling of like we're all in this together.
Sure.
Whereas now, like the sport's pretty well established.
Yeah.
There's a lot more money coming into the sport. There's a lot more experience and a lot more talented drivers that are maybe even second generation. There's some drivers that are now second generation in our sport, which is crazy.
Wow.
So it's
wild.
It's grown a lot more from when I started, which feels like not that long ago.
Even really isn't, but
in my 40s, I used to be the young kid.
So you're building content. You're in LA with Race Service now. You did that move. Tell us about the move. What was the catalyst for that decision? Like, why did you go do that? And what did you find when you were in LA for those few years?
Yeah, the LA thing was good overall. There was a lot. I guess I'll get to that later. LA was good. I got to experience something brand new and be in a city and figure out a lot of things with my future wife. Yeah. And that brought us a lot closer together, I think. And, we figured out how to start a life somewhere new. And, and then, there's all like those little things that are.
Were you part of the ownership of the group too, or just?
I was not in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. So Race Service started with 3 members, and then I got the opportunity to buy my way in, which I did at a great level. Okay. And so did some other people that were very early on as well. Yeah. Kind of in that core group of people. Okay. So then I had skin in the game, and nice. And that's why I stuck it out there for a little bit longer than I wanted to. Sure. But it was great. I mean, working alongside all those people and seeing them all now progress into this new thing that they all put together. Yeah. Was awesome. And you're still racing. And to be a part of it in a big way. Yeah. Especially in the beginning. Okay. Yeah, I'm still driving full time in Formula Drift. Yeah. Partnered with Forsberg in 2016 when we had Nameless Performance kind of running the program for us.
Yeah.
And then we partnered. We parted ways with Nameless, I think, in 2017.
Okay.
And then Chris and I continued to run our programs out of his rig up until 2019.
Okay.
And then I got the ride with Steph Papadakis in 2020.
Nice. And that was
that's where I've been ever since. Yeah.
That was the Toyota switch over. And
and for the GR Corolla.
Yeah.
Which I was very stoked on.
So
cool. I finally worked my way back into another suit and helmet deal.
It took
8 years, but
that's actually a pretty short timeline from like the fact that you got to taste that level of success and then actually get back to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And it worked out. Like I remember talking to Steph a few years even prior to making the deal work. And he's like, I feel like there's something here. Like, let's just keep in touch and see how things kind of work out. And
really?
I think why it worked mostly is because I had established myself and had a great supporters and sponsorship deals because I still had to bring money to the table to make the whole deal work.
Right.
I could just now drive somebody else's car and show up as a suit and helmet deal. But now I'm bringing money to a program for that.
Right.
So a little bit of a different situation than back in the early 2008, 9, 10 days.
Yeah, especially now, a lot of young people call Team O'Neill and ask for like a way, join the team, and they want to start racing for us. And I'm like, pretty much at this day, at most top level motorsport, or even not even top level, you have to bring the money. Right. And so and bring the money being in either an exposure or actual cash or like, and top WRC, top F1, top everything that I know of, most guys have to bring money in some form or fashion. Right. Yep. And so it's like, that's what I try to coach a lot of these young people, like find a way to make money. And if you can do that, everything gets so much easier. If you got really rich doing something else, like, make a sneaker company and sell it for $60 million. That's how you can become Ken Block. Like it's not
rocket science, guys.
Yeah. It's just not the sexy, kiss this baby here, shake this hand over here, do these, really exciting things, and then you think you're going to get paid to do this. It's like, it's not how it goes.
It's so hard. Yeah. Motorsports is such a hard
business. It's, and that's what makes it exciting to achieve, and the success you do experience it's because you've worked for it. It's not because you were given it, right? Like nobody's giving anyone anything in motorsports because there's a lot of fast, good drivers. Being a good driver is only probably a quarter of the variable. Right. You can't be a bad driver and have a good deal, but there's so much of these other things that have to happen for you to get this opportunity. And being hyper focused and willing to sacrifice and, creating your media program and all the things that you guys did, like those are all the stair steps that allowed you to be here right now.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Yep. And so you're not going to turn that on overnight either. Like that's part of the game is like, you can be young and don't have money and you've got to work a job, and creating a social media profile is a free thing to do right now, right? Like, so if you can find a way to get some attention online and do something that no one else has done, that's just the creativity part of what you can do as a young person and want to start this path. Right. Yeah. And so it's just
everybody has the opportunity on that side of things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's where we're at right now. I think in this day and age is coming up with a way to generate your own budget and find a way to pay your own bills is the most attainable thing you could do as a person. Right. Like, and then wait for the opportunities. Like, cause sometimes the phone will ring or you'll be in the right place.
Yeah. You'll never know.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
Like the things that pop up,
the going to SEMA,
could be life changing. Yes.
Being in the right place at the right time in the right moment. Yeah. So tell me about the team that you have around you now. Who do you interact with the most? Like how do you run your program today? Like what do you do to run your program right now?
So my program now, I'm still working with a lot of the people that I've worked with a long time ago. So I am kind of outside race service now, as far as working with them on a day-to-day basis like I was when I was living out in LA. So now I'm obviously in New Hampshire and I can't see the guys as much.
Sure.
So whenever I fly out there, I'll make sure I make a visit and say hi to everybody. But so not a ton of working relationship there, but still a lot of friendships over there.
Okay.
We all still keep in touch.
Yep.
And get to see each other a few times a year, which is nice. I've been working with my same crew chief since 2013.
Oh, wow.
So we've had a long-standing friendship and relationship on track, which is cool.
That's amazing.
A few other long-term relationships. Some people I'm not working with at the moment, but still, be forever type of friends where you don't talk to for a year or two and then talk to each other and you pick right up where you left off type of thing. So a lot of long life
and Zach is doing your behind the scenes social media stuff for you.
So Zach I met at a local event here in Northeast at Lock City at Thompson Speedway. And he was a media guy there filming photography. He was just shooting photography and stills at that time. And I remember coming up, I think it was in 2020 when I had come back. It was right before I moved back east with my wife. And I met him at a local event. And I was like, here, hold this GoPro. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to film my own content at that point. And he did. And he was seemed like very eager to learn. And like he was just down to do whatever.
Right.
So I was like, let's keep in touch. I'm like, got a lot going on in my life right now. But when I move back east, let's sit down and
come up with something.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we did that, and a few years later, it kind of slowly moved into what it is now, and now he's been full-time on my program, which has been awesome. And he's been able to take my content program to a super high, consistent level, which is great.
Yeah, no, I saw a different change in your media and I met him when we were doing our drift schools and we were looking at creating stuff. So I got to spend a little time with him when we were looking at the different stuff we were doing, and he's passionate, obviously. Very. And that's really cool to be around someone like him. Yeah.
He was willing to work as hard as I was on my own program. So once you see that in somebody, and they're
just trying to let them loose, right? To get out of their way.
Because he's going to do his own thing. He's like, I want to get to this level that you are already at with race service. I need to get there somehow type of thing.
Right.
So he was,
that's cool.
He hadn't shot video. When I met him, he hadn't shot one bit of video before. So that's amazing. Like, if you want to make money, you got to film some stuff.
Right.
And then he was willing to do it. Yeah. He's got a great open mindset.
That's perfect. So do you remember the first time you heard about Team O'Neill and all of your, you're New Hampshire based, we have this rally school here. Do you remember that first time or first exposure to Team O'Neill? Or?
I'm not going to remember the exact first time.
Yeah.
But I know it was back in like 2010, 2011.
Okay.
I'm friends with some mutual people, of course, like Bill Washburn and a lot of the guys from the old Den Sport Garage.
Yeah.
So they're the ones who pretty much introduced me to rally in the U.S. Okay. Obviously, I knew what WRC was and would watch whatever bit of footage I could find online for that.
Yeah.
But Bill, I would say is the connection. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you came up in like 2012 and did some media with Forrest.
Was it 12?
And 20.
I can't remember because we filmed the Network A thing with Bucky Lassick. He flew out for it.
There was up in the snow.
Yeah.
And
I was watching.
Blast. I think it was 12. Maybe it was posted in 12. But
I think you're right. I think it was 12 because I remember it was such a cool opportunity that we called Network A and we're like, hey, I know like we already fulfilled our episodes, but like, can we do another add-on? Like we had this cool idea.
Nice.
And they said yes.
Awesome.
So then we were able to call Tim and connect those dots. And Tim's like, just come up and do the 5-day school. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like on top of going there to film stuff. I was like, no way. Like this is crazy.
Cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, I got to do the 5-day, which is such an amazing experience. Yeah. And the program that you guys put together.
So left foot braking, obviously, and you're doing left foot braking in the drift car.
We were doing like at that point, not a ton.
Oh, really?
We're just starting to like introduce left foot brake to our driving technique.
Okay.
Guys like Hubinette and Reese Millen, guys who had some rally experience already were doing that. And then I didn't really catch on until like there was a need.
Okay.
Till tandem starting getting closer
really
to the doors.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I was wondering what you used with what our rally technique. I knew left foot braking became pretty popular in drift, but
almost too popular.
Oh, really?
Now it's kind of come back a step because when we all learned how to do it, everybody started learning how to do it, and then you're just like, doing it too much
type
of thing, where now it's kind of backpedaled a little bit.
Okay.
And things are a lot smoother.
Yeah.
And you're now using a multitude of techniques in the car rather than just left foot brake or just handbrake type of thing.
Interesting. What do you do for your initiations at your level of speed now?
It's going to be just your own comfort and personal preference of whether you're going to do a power over, a little flick to a handbrake pull to set the car, or whatever the case, or just straight in handbrake or straight in clutch kick type of thing.
Okay.
So there's multiple ways to do it.
Right.
And it just depends on your car setup and what your comfort is as a driver.
As a rally guy, the feint is my favorite always.
Yes.
The old
with
cars.
My limited all-wheel drive experience, the feint feels like the best way to do it.
Just I don't know, go left to turn right. Yep, it just feels good. No, that's awesome. Cool. Tell us about the Celica build. So you kind of have this rally inspired build. It's more of going to be a show kind of car, it seems, from the conversations we've had. You're probably never gonna rally it. We talked about getting it on dirt. That's a lot of investment, right?
It is, right? So these car builds you get a great budget to build a phenomenal high level car,
right?
And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm just the one who takes the budget. And I'm like, oh, I can pour all this money into this now. I've never done this. I'm going to do that now, and that type of thing. You're just going to spend all the money because that's all I've known how to do. Is you get money, you spend the whole thing on the car, make it the best you possibly can.
Right.
So that's kind of always my thing, where I'm never willing to sacrifice the level of the car or the
you're going to put 110% into it, right? So every resource that you've got, you're gonna really commit to that, and it's a beautiful project.
So that's the problem. It's coming out so nice,
right?
And I'm not going to have any extra cash as a spares program for it, or to let alone keep it in shape from a rally.
Right. Yeah. Just the gravel rash that you would have in 10 miles of racing it on gravel, it would be a significant investment.
Also, I think from being a realist, I think taking that car and doing rally for the first time in that car, it's probably not the smartest thing to do. It's going to have a lot more power. I know there's restrictor plates, but having to put that car in the class that I would have to drive in, no way.
Yeah. No, and that's, Team O'Neill, we built ourselves on teaching people how to drive slow cars fast. And the reason, because you got to learn all those things. And you, with your experience in drifting, there's a lot of, crossover and just being comfortable in moto. And you see what Travis Pastrana's success, you have probably the mindset that you could do well in rally, but it's the building the co-driver notes in your dictionary and all the things that, why would you waste that time in training on a car of that level? You can't maximize that car anyways. Might as well be in a slow car while you develop all these other things that you need. Then you can implement it in the car that
you need to go back to basics.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And learn the fundamentals instead of band-aiding yourself straight at the top.
Right. Yeah.
And then trying to figure out how to go fast. And then maybe making it work out. And then maybe crashing your beautiful car.
Yeah, the thing that you're never going to be able to afford to repair. Yeah.
So the Celica is going to be, it's pretty much my first dive into an all-wheel drive platform. I've never had one before.
Yeah.
And now that I've been doing drifting for so long, now I'm looking for these other avenues to keep myself, I guess, learning something new, right? Because I'm still learning drifting, but you're kind of at the tip of the spear where it takes such a longer span of time to get better and get to this next step because you're at a level that, and now things aren't happening exponentially anymore. They're happening a lot slower.
Right.
So I need to always keep myself passionate about cars, and doing one thing for so long, you might get a little less passionate, right?
Sure.
So I like to do these other things and have other experiences to continue just the normal passion of motorsports that I have in general.
Right.
And all-wheel drive is going to be that for me, because it's the one platform that I haven't really had much experience in.
Sure.
And this car is going to be that for me. So it's going to be a stunt car essentially, as well as a hill climb car.
Oh, cool.
And the big event I want to do with the Celica is the Climb to the Clouds event that is hopefully going to happen next year up in Washington.
Yeah. Awesome. yeah, we're part of actually the back end of that a little bit too. So if you need any insider info on that event specifically, we're helping the logistics of some of that. So that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm sure they would love to have that car at that event. So
that's my safe racing avenue.
Yeah,
safer.
Yeah, I mean, there's high consequences, but it's
for sure
a wide road, and
asphalt.
There's a lot that all asphalt now. So yeah, you don't even have any gravel left on Mount Washington. But oh man, that's amazing. It's a beautiful car, and you've gotten some really good traction on your media from it, right?
Yeah. It's done well, and I think it'll hopefully do as well when we actually getting it driving on a track and start shaking it down.
Right. And are you building that here in New Hampshire? Or
yep. Sorry, no. It's actually being built at the fabricator shop, Texara Fabrication, down in Fall River, Mass.
Oh, okay. But
so not too far on the East Coast. Yeah.
Perfect. That's really cool. Well, we're excited to keep watching that. You kind of alluded to this a few times, but at this point in your career, do you have any other racing dreams? Like, is there any other like?
Yes, of course.
Obviously, maybe the championship someday if it were to come around or be realistic.
The championship, of course, but I think more of my dream now is to experience other sides of motorsport and be able to utilize these cars that I've built at my shop in more places than just a couple times a year. Yeah. Like I have like a really cool, some really cool cars that are made for different disciplines that I don't get to drive that often.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy building cars now and learning more of the engineering side of things and learning CAD design, learning how to machine parts, and like making stuff for my race cars is now something that is super gratifying to me in this road that I'm further and going down deeper and deeper, which I enjoy a lot. So there's been a lot of that change in me now that I'm older. It's like when I was up until probably 2020, I didn't care what bolt was on the car as long as it held the fender on type of thing. Sure. You know what I mean? As long as the car drives down the track, I don't care. I just want to be a driver and burn tires and get better at this sport. Where I'm now, I think, a little more refined from that, where now I take building a car very seriously and understand the reliability aspect of it and to how to build something at a more professional level that's going to last and have quality.
So parts. You have a new shop now or a new business. So this would be a perfect segue into that.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I guess all of that kind of stems into this. I've had an idea to start a company, and I wanted to do it with my brothers and our friend John, and that's kind of what happened. And early when I started coming around to like, all right, I think I want to do some CAD design and like figure that stuff out and start like making parts for my car and figuring that out and becoming a better metal worker and learn how to weld better and all of those things. So my first thought was, after building quite a few different cars, was, well, wouldn't it be cool to have all of your own parts on this car? And my thought process there was, a lot of the fabrication components are easier to design. They're pretty much all in the machinist handbook as far as like the standards of how to build and how to design something. So that was my kind of entry level into CAD, was just understanding what the machinist handbook was and pulling dimensions and measurements and building simple things like semi-simple things like AN weld bungs and ORBs and stuff like that.
And you just... Where did that come from? Like, where do you think that happened?
Yeah, it just came from kind of needing to fulfill another thing for me, another challenge. Yeah. So I wanted to start with fabrication components, and that's what 411 Works is. And we wanted to, I was like, we want it to be American made as much as it possibly can. There's some things that still have to be outsourced. Sure. Just based on the insanity of costs. Sure. Right now, so we bought a CNC lathe. Our friend John, our partner in 411 Works, who's a proper machinist of 20 plus years. He has his own Haas mill. So using both of those tools, we've started creating a catalog of parts that are made right here in the U.S. and New Hampshire, and to the best standards that we can out of some of the best materials that you can get. And that's kind of our no compromise mantra, is like, it has to be done right. Done right the first time, and you're going to get the top tier quality of material to utilize on your car as well.
Where'd the 411 name come from?
So 411's been one of my racing numbers from dirt bikes to cars, and it's kind of been this continuation.
Yeah. And
it came from my dad coming back to the trailer at a race one day saying, like, what numbers do you want to be? And you can have 410 or 411, and that being our birth dates. So April 10th and had to choose one, you know? So Justin chose April 10th, and I chose the day after, April 11th.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So 411 works.
Yeah.
And I was racing dirt bikes, like works was a factory team.
Right.
So that word was like synonymous with like professional, like the top tier dirt bike riders and factory teams.
Right.
And I kind of wanted that.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted that word in the company as well. So 411 works is
cool.
Yeah.
So just that top tier. And
So I kind of continuing that mantra from the dirt bikes on.
So what have you found as a challenge in that? Like
every single thing. Every single thing. I mean, just learning what precision actually is and what precision means.
Yeah.
And understanding
tens,
that.
Hundreds, thousands.
Tolerances and others. I'm still a hobbyist in a sense of like I'm still a noob at machining and understanding and CAD drawing. Like there's nothing complex that I've designed yet. It's all been pretty simple stuff, but you got to start somewhere. And I love to do it. It's something I love, a challenge. And the Celica project has pushed me into learning quite a bit more of CAD design. And I kind of have to have that challenge in order to push myself to get to the next level of a skill set. So I think building these cars and building a company that's based in fabrication components is the best thing that you could possibly do, because you're fulfilling and overcoming all these challenges on a build project, and you're figuring out all these things like, oh, wouldn't it be cooler if we had some part that made this situation way easier? And then boom, that's an idea for the company. So I think building a race car is synonymous with building a catalog of parts for a race car.
Interesting.
To sell.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And you've got the marketing outlet for it through all the media that you guys are creating. So if someone did want to follow your shoes and become like they idolize to be you right now, like what would some of your advice for them be? Like what could they do now and today, or what would you give them as advice?
Man, that's a loaded question.
It is.
That's a hard one to answer.
It is. Yeah.
So I might trail off here, but
hopefully
it makes sense to some people.
Yeah.
I say number one thing my dad always used to tell me is just it has to be fun. It has to be, you have to be passionate about something to ignore all of the normal sense of the world telling you to not do something and not invest X amount of time into it, because you need to have that passion behind something if you really, really want to do it.
That's good
advice. And if you want to get to the highest level of that, if you don't have passion for it, you're not going to get there.
Yeah.
There's something's going to break you and steer you in another direction.
Yeah.
So there has to be that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what has steered me in every direction or most of the directions that I've gone, has just been wanting to do something and wanting to learn something.
Yeah.
And just being locked in.
Follow the passion.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than being
locked in on it.
Forced into it or expected to become it. Like that.
The thing that cracked me from not giving a care of what bolt was on the car, if it was the right one, the wrong one, long, short, bent, half stripped out or whatever, was when I built my Supra with my friend Dominic, who I've been building. He's been fabricating on my cars for a very long time, was part of my program for a long time as well. One of the most talented dudes that you can have work on your car for fabrication, just a top tier level of that industry. And I learned a lot from him, but I never really paid attention because I didn't care about that back then. It was just like,
and he took care of it.
Yeah. And he was a great dude. We're great friends. And I knew that he was top level.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just lucky to have that person, again, like another person that just kind of steered me in these directions. And I was lucky to have touched part of my career,
Yep.
When we built the Supra together, he pretty much broke me in a sense of like, this was a passion project of mine to have that Judd engine, that V10 that I put in that Supra, was like, a 10 or 12 year like goal of mine to get one of those engines and put it in a car.
Okay.
And I didn't get I got some great support, but not a ton of monetary support needed to fulfill like the level of that project.
Right.
So a lot of it was coming out of my savings. And that's what pretty much like was like, I need to start learning this stuff. Wow. And Dominic was pretty much like, yeah, we're not doing this on like some BS cheap level. Like you need to have the best materials, and we need to do it like this and do it like that. So at that point I was just like, all right, I'm locked in. And then he pretty much gave me a 4-year college degree on how to build a high level professional quality motorsport car.
That's amazing.
And that's what broke me and put me now on this path into wanting to keep going down that road of experiencing new levels of car build and different ways to do it.
Cool. Oh, that's really good advice. Anything else coming up cool that you can tell us about? Is there any other projects that are on the horizon for you?
No. Yeah, sorry. Nothing too exciting. Just the focus is obviously finishing at FD Strong at our last round in Long Beach, and then finishing the Celica project. Okay. Getting that on track and tested before the year's out. There's some cool opportunities out there right now to do with that car. We just have to pray that we all did our job and it fires up and we're able to get it on track with very minimal things to fix and change and have to you always go out and test and you learn something. Hopefully there's no major things.
Good. If people want to connect with you or buy stuff from 411, like what are the best ways to follow up with you and stay connected?
All my socials are at Ryan Tuerck.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and
YouTube. Yeah.
And then for 411 Works, it's 411-works, WORKS.com. And that's our website. And we're just continuing to build our catalog and get through a lot of the parts that we want to get through before we start designing some more complex stuff, which I'm looking forward to in the future. Yeah.
Well, it's so much fun watching your content and social media and YouTube stuff. So I've been following you for a long time, but I appreciate you coming out here today. Thank you for investing the time, and look forward to following your career some more.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking.
Thanks.